Name something that always puts a smile on your face, Carl. It always cheers you up. If you're feeling a bit blue, it always cheers you up.
A monkey, innit?
Learning something.
Right.
That's a bit weird.
I love the qualifier. That's a bit weird.
I think it was two different sentences. I think it was learning something. That's a bit weird.
yeah.
Oh.
Learning something that's a bit weird. Okay, and finally, if you could have something to make you happy, what would it be?
Little chimp, wouldn't it? Little chimp in a suit.
Well, don't answer for him. Don't put words into me. You could have anything you want. It'll cheer you up and make you happy. What would it be?
You can't say a skin of titanium. It's got to be something possible.
Yeah.
X-ray vision. No. What would you have? It can be conceptual. It could be world peace. It doesn't have to be, you know, a new watch.
Yeah, let someone else wish for that.
Sure.
That'd be a waste.
Yeah. Why should you do it? And then someone else gets a nice new watch and there's world peace.
Exactly.
You're walking round, it's nice and peaceful, you know what time it is. He's swanning round, he's got a lovely new watch, and there's no threat of him being bombed.
Exactly.
I'm quite happy the way I am, really. I don't really want
Are
that
you
much.
really?
But you're on a 4.
Yeah,
You're on a happy scale of 4.
Yeah, you're on a 4. Surely you want to get to 10. Surely the point of life is to be on 10.
Yeah, but what's a 10? Do you know what I mean?
No.
What's a 10?
Contentment, absolute contentment, joy
Bliss.
in your heart,
Yeah.
inwardly and outwardly. Not walking round with a little round mank head with your mouth open going, what's the point of that? I've done it once. Is that why you've still got all the condoms? Because I've done it once.
What's the point of that?
Alright, we're going to get everything. Some hair gel. Come on. 10.
Just one thing that would make you happy. That would cheer you up if you were feeling low.
Tuesdays off as well? I'll have the MD just, you know, resign straight away, shall I?
I honestly don't know what would make me happy just like that. Because I am happy. I know you say I'm fed up and that.
Do you know what?
But
Do you know?
I am
It
fed-
said
I'm alright.
he wouldn't want to be too rich. He said because if I was too rich, then Suzanne would say, "Let's go around the world." He said he wants to be rich enough so they're happy in that they got their bathroom and everything, but they still can't afford any more holidays a year. Think of that. Think of that wish. Think of that capping your wishes.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Putting a ceiling
Yeah.
on your ambition. I love it. It's genius. Look at his face. Play a record. You're an
It's
idiot.
like if you'd won that ticket round Charlie's Chocolate Factory, and he'd said, actually, Carl, I want you to take over the factory. It was a test. You'd have said, I just wanted to look around the chocolate factory.
Yeah.
I'm happy to go back and live.
No, he just said,
poor.
I'll work it, but I'm not working Mondays.
Exactly.
Play a record.
I do tend to be a bit of a pessimist, which I don't think is a bad thing, because it's just... Because it seems like everything I've talked about has worked out, but it hasn't always. But when it doesn't, I kind of go, I knew that was going to happen. So it affects me less. Like I said to you, it's a protection.
It affects you less.
Yeah.
The pessimist in you is preparing you to hit that iceberg,
Yeah,
so that when it does
definitely.
happen,
You go,
if it
I knew that
happens,
was
you go,
going to
well,
happen.
at least we
I
were...
knew it. I told you that was going to happen. And sometimes Suzanne's all stressed out and annoyed because something's gone wrong, and I was ahead of her. I felt like that about 3 days ago when I was moaning at you. So stop moaning. You stop moaning now. You know what I mean? So I don't think there's... It annoys me a bit when people sort of go, oh, you're a pessimist. It's like, well, maybe I am, but we're not all the same, are we? We have different ways of working stuff out. I've had an all right day.
Kids, if you want to muck around at school, do nothing, play out on your grifter all day, leave school at 15 with no qualifications at all, then things could happen for you. It's good advice. You're a great role model.
Did you do well at school, Greg? I can't imagine you did all right.
I did okay. I did all right. I was average. I was okay at exams.
You see, you have a go and everything, but you did all right. But what are you doing? Stephen Fry, dead brainy, is doing a panel show. It's wasted. You've got a brain, do something with it. I'm not having a go at Stephen Fry. I'm a big admirer of Stephen Fry, but what I'm saying is there's no difference between me and him, really, in terms of work.
Absolutely. Absolutely. No, I wasn't dissing you. I was saying, well done. I was dissing Mrs. Matthews for saying you weren't high flyer, but then I felt a little bit guilty about sending out a message to the listeners of Radio 1 that, you know,
Yeah.
you are the odd one out. You've put the work in late in life. And it's
But that's
brilliant.
the best time to do it. I think when you're a kid, play out, play with stuff.
Yeah. Not matches. Or drugs.
No.
No. And floss. Floss, kids.
So, yeah.
You've done well. I mean, you are quite similar to Stephen Fry, best-selling author.
Yeah, I've done some books.
Have we got a panel show on the way?
Don't really want to be doing that.
No, next project, I want to send him round on a bicycle with Warwick Davis in a basket. It's called...
Is that for Sky One, yeah?
No, well, there's, we've had offers already.
Stephen Fry turned that one down.
You know, you see The Apprentice. You know, there's some proper bullshitters on there. It's a proper skill, isn't it? But I remember how many years ago? It might have been 7 years. I don't know. It might be further back than that. But my agent, when I first moved to London, and I'd been doing the radio with Ricky and Steve, and he was like, "Oh, there's an actor's part come up. You've just got to go to the casting." And that was probably the first time it felt like a proper interview. And
it's demeaning as well, isn't it?
Totally bottled it.
Yeah.
Got in there. I could hear the people in this room acting out this scene.
Yeah.
I hadn't really learned it. I kind of thought I'll just sort of do a version of that. And I could hear this. In fact, I know who it was. It was a bloke called Ray Peacock who does podcasts.
Yeah. Ian
'Cause he
Boldsworth
came
is
out,
your name, isn't it?
Right. Well, I've only met him at that place, and he came out, and he was really big. He's quite a big performer and that, isn't he? And I was out, and he's like, "Yeah, good." And I just thought, I can't do this, but I didn't want to be rude and just leg it. I thought I'll have to go in and tell him. I just went in straight away and went, "Look, I don't want to waste your time. This isn't for me. I don't want to put you through this. I don't want to put myself through it. I don't want to do it." I walked off, and the agent was like, "What are you doing? That's a missed opportunity." He's like, "Well, not really. It's not what I want. You told me to come here. And yeah, maybe it was an opportunity, but it's not one I'm ready for at this moment in time." And if there's one thing I know about myself, it's I've got to be comfortable with that thing. If I'm not, I'm a mess. And that's what Ricky and Steve picked up on the travel stuff, dropping me in situations that I haven't prepared myself for. I break down. I'm rubbish at it. I'm not, like James Bond. He's like, he can think, he can add it all up. He's like, I can deal with this. I'd just go, oh God, and that'd be the end of me. So I wasn't ready for that. And
good for you.
But it's weird how, I don't know how many years ago that was. That's what I've ended up doing.
But on your terms, though. Yeah,
in my own time. So when people say that line about, oh, if something comes along, grasp it, take every opportunity that comes along. Sometimes, no, don't do that. Think about it, but don't like spur of the moment. This could be it. Well, yeah, but is it what you want? And is this there's other paths to where you want to get? It's like sat nav, innit? Always sends you the route everybody else has been sent on.
Yeah,
which means that it's not the quickest route. No. It's not the best route. Go a different route and you'll get there. You'll still get there. You might get lost on the way and find something else. But it's that thing of, there isn't... It's like when people say, what advice do you give? It's like, I don't want to give you advice because it might not work for you. You've got to work out what's right.
So true.
Yeah. So, and it's worked out. It's kind of... Everything's not, as good as I thought it could have been. Could have tried harder, but it's kind of all right. I'm happy with me lot. So, pretty heavy, that, isn't it?
No, I mean, that was one of those.
I don't know where that came from. But for me, the toilet thing is a big part of my life in a way. It's something I do look forward to. If the day ever came that I had to have a bag, I think it's almost like that moment's been taken away from me. That just me in a little room, door shut.
Yeah.
It's me time. I always said that. It's a chance just to get away from everyone.
Yeah.
And people leave me alone when I'm in there,
Usually, I hope so, yeah.
Yeah, but well, you'd be surprised.
The publishers can't ring you up when you're on the toilet. You don't have your mobile with you or not?
I do, yeah.
Do you now? Yeah. God.
Well, that's the closest I get to multitasking.
Right. You were looking at your Book of Freaks,
my Book of Freaks,
which was really good fun.
Yeah. Yeah, God.
You're still a fan of the unusual? Still got the book?
I'll always, anything weird in life, I still see things now online where I go, if we were still doing travel shows, I'd be visiting that. I'd want to go and see that. There was a bloke who was reading about the other day.
It's interesting, though, that you've not got enough desire to visit it just as Karl the person. If we were doing a travel show, I'd visit that. I mean,
I can't. I'll tell you what it was. It was a bloke in Uganda whose farts were that bad that he could kill mosquitoes, right? So it's not a reason to book a holiday. It's not a reason to go somewhere. But it was an interesting thing within 6 foot or something, and they don't know why. He just eats normal food. He eats the same stuff as his mates. He's quite healthy. He washes. but he's got this fart that apparently could be worth millions. I mean, the mosquitoes are like the number one killer in the world.
It's a lifesaver.
More deaths than anything else.
Yeah.
So he's got this inner power that if they can stick in some sort of spray can or whatever, he could sort the world up. Well, he probably wouldn't sort the world's problem. If no one dies, there's another problem, isn't it?
Yeah,
you can't have too many people surviving. But anyway, so when I see things like that, I go, it'd be good to sort of go and see that happen.
Yeah.
Because it's all in... All right, it was on the BBC website, so that gives it a bit of weight. You're thinking, what's happened there? Why is this... This isn't... You know, it was all Brexit and politics. Why is this so low down on the story order? Why isn't this on news at 10?
Yeah.
And finally, you know... so I'd still do love that, because it's what makes getting up in the morning worthwhile for me, those sort of things.
It's the fun stuff.
The fun stuff, because I've just... As I've got older, I don't know, I worry about how long I'm going to be here. It's like, God, the news is depressing, everything seems broke, you know. Look at that, I was on cue, police sirens.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Whereas when you're a kid, you don't, it was ice cream men, that's what you heard.
Yeah.
Everything seems depressing, you know, the world's knackered, we're polluting it, you know.
Why can't we go back to the days of monkey news rather than Brexit news?
Seriously,
you know?
it is.
And
Steve did all this with me with the travelling to broaden my mind, and a bit of me, I wish I was sort of the what is it? What's that saying? Oh, what's the saying when you don't know anything, you're happier?
Ignorance is bliss.
Ignorance is bliss. Yeah. There's something in it. I know you can't sort of just pretend nothing's, you know, bad is going on in the world. I know. But maybe leave that to the people who can do something about it.
And
Carl, we're on happiness. Carl,
Yeah.
I'm trying to explain to Carl that the aim to, you know, is really to get on a 10.
Yeah.
For
But I like
happiness.
the
He's
fact
on
that he
4.
started on a 9.
But I love the fact he's happy with 4.
Yeah.
I love that.
No, but what I mean is, right, I'm not looking for, like, happiness.
Right.
I'm
You're
all
not
right.
looking for happiness? What? What's that for?
What I mean is, right, I'm happy when I'm not fed up. So what I mean is, I'm happy.
Is this in your new book, Psychology of the Mind? What is that? I'm happy when I'm not fed up. That's like an 8-year-old trying to explain happiness. Johnny, what is it when I'm happy when I'm not fed up, miss? Well done, good boy. That's it. You're happy when you're not fed up. Talk like an adult.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying to you, though. I don't.
What?
I'm happy most of the time. It's just that when things niggle me, I find that I realise when I'm annoyed more than when I'm happy.
But Carl, every time we talk to you, you are whinging about something. You've got something that annoys you.
But he's one of those people that if he whinges loud enough, he gets away with it. Like he's in here, I think he goes, "Oh, I'm really busy." I come in and he's doing nothing. He's chatting because he's having big long chats with everyone about how someone's wound him up, and they all come in and they go, "Oh, Carl's fed up," because he's got this show. You know what I mean? He's wormed his way.
No, but hang on a minute.
Go
You
on.
came in moaning about the post and that today.
Yeah.
But everyone's annoyed and frustrated by that. There's small businesses going out of business.
I'm not. You haven't heard me.
No, you're not,
about
because
that.
who's sending you letters? No one. You've got no friends. You've said that yourself.
Yeah.
You've openly declared you don't want friends. They're too much hassle.
Yeah.
Yeah. That is my joy. Friends that is the point of life to me. I can't wait to see them. I squeeze their head. I welcome them in.
They annoy me.
Annoy me. I love it. Friends are annoying. He's even scared of like doing something with a friend or getting a gift because he goes, I have to buy him one back now.
Yeah.
It's sort of like life's a bit of a chore for Carl, isn't it?
Well, anyway, all right. Let's leave that aside. Obviously, you're never going to be entirely happy, although apparently you are already on the brink of happiness.
All you
No,
had to
I
say
told
was
you,
your
right.
hair looked nice.
I
That's
was
all you
on-
had to say. Yeah, it looks good. Yeah, and that's it. End of story.
What's the point in that? What is the point in
Because
that?
she doesn't really care what you think, but she doesn't want to hear that she looks like Dave Hill from Slade.
She's not having her haircut just to please you, Carl. Despite what you might think. He's taken aback by that.
Yeah.
There was this. This is what it's like about getting presents and stuff, right? With my mum and dad.
Go on.
My mate Colin, right?
Colin Makin?
No, Colin Bailey.
Oh,
right? He had a little Sinclair Spectrum, right? Computer, which was like the thing to have at that time, right?
Yeah.
Used to always go round to his house. The deal was
Not the one you had to play through the window because you weren't allowed.
no, that's another lad.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
This is a different lad, and the deal was he came to our house and my mum gave him a pie.
And then I'd go round to his, and I'd stay there for a few hours playing, Hungry Horace and stuff like that on it.
Sure.
Right? Now, my mum and dad knew that I really wanted one of these computers, right? So I waited about a year. Came round to Christmas Day. I thought, I reckon might have one. Turned out they bought me the wrong one. They bought me a ZX81 instead of a Spectrum, right? And Christmas Day, I'm there trying to load the games up. It's not working. I'm thinking, what's wrong, right? And the thing with me, when I was a kid, I used to get quite sort of agitated.
This is the moment.
Right? I found out that it needed a RAM pack to make it work, right? Looking in the thing, and it's saying, and make sure you put your RAM pack in the back. And I was like, oh, where's the RAM pack? And my dad's going, I don't know, I've got you the main bit. That's it. So, I was that wound up, I just was sick, right? Just sick. I didn't feel sick or anything, I just was like, oh God. Went to the sink, just sick. Because I was that on edge about it. I said, come on, we've got to get one. And my dad's like, Tandy's shut, we're not gonna get anything today. Ruined again, Christmas Day. That was after the year when my train set got blown up by our kid. The following year, no RAM pack. And now you ask me, why don't I get good presents?
He's scarred. He just
I'm gonna die. Honestly, I'm gonna die. He's just being sick.
Yeah. There's no RAM pack.
Did you get to the bottom of it? Why wasn't there a RAM pack?
You have to buy them separate.
Oh,
It's one of them
okay.
cons.
What do you mean I can't play Frogger?
Oh no.
So, wasn't there another incident when you threw up? Spontaneously threw up? Through sheer anxiety?
I do get it. It's not so much now, because I've relaxed a bit, but as a kid I used to be quite on edge all the time with certain things.
Do you think that's what happened to your
The
cat
wind.
that kept being sick? That it didn't get the food it wanted, and it just threw up? Do you remember that?
Yeah.
God, so they shaved it.
Yeah, but again, you see, the cat thing, I mean, it's mad. I was thinking about it the other day, right? I used to think I had quite a normal upbringing.
You didn't.
Right? And someone was talking
Your
about the
mother
cat.
once told you not to go to school because it was windy, Carl. It was
Yeah.
not
Right.
a normal
The
upbringing.
cat was being sick, so she shaved it, so it was easier to clean.
Right, well, my mum and dad went on holiday, right? And I stayed at the Rosses down the road.
Oh, yeah.
Only a kid, must have been about 5 or something, right? And I was always running around in the house. I had a lot of energy as a kid. What the Rosses did, they had this cat that was dead violent, the most violent sort of angry cat I have ever witnessed.
A tiger.
It was honestly, Steve, if it was bigger, it would have been, because it was just always having a go at you.
Yeah.
If you went to pat it on the head, it went to bite you and stuff. And what they used to do with it, to stop me running around, I'd sort of be running around, and then I'd get a bit tired, and they'd say, have a lie down on the settee. So I'd lie down on the settee and I'd nod off. And what they used to do, I'd wake up, and I'd put the cat on my belly. Right? So I'd be scared to move, because it's like it's going to get me.
But it would keep you
But
there.
it kept me there, and it used to sort of slaver on me, and they'd sort of, go out or whatever, and I'd be lying there. That's not normal, is it?
Carl, sorry, were you created by the Brothers Grimm for one of their fairy tales? What kind of a life is that?
A cat paperweight to keep Carl in place. He keeps blowing around. It's windy. We'll have to weigh him down. Be careful. Your mum probably told him that it's a windy day. You got to get something heavy on him, otherwise he just gets blown into the road. God.
Why are you bothered about how they see you? You are what you are. Me, I don't care if I'm seen as intelligent, stupid, crazy, off the wall, having a midlife crisis, any of it. I'm just interested in what is, and if what is not what the systems version is, then fuck 'em. And the key, Carl, is not to buy it. Because it doesn't matter if people think you're stupid. I don't think you're stupid.
No, well,
and it doesn't matter if they do.
Grinds you down a bit.
Well, it does, mate, if you allow it to grind you down. I mean, I'm the living proof, say the bloody least, that you can take enormous amounts of ridicule over a long period of time and still keep going on the journey that you think is right and following the path that you think is right.
You've got to sort of trust the experts, haven't you? I had, a fella around when I had a problem with the fridge, and he was like a professional fridge fixer. And yet he said, when did you last back it out? I should be able to go, well, he knows what he's talking about. He's a fridge fixer.
but I've never heard anyone talk about backing out a fridge. So it's, who do you listen to?
You have to, in the end, you know, the whole thing is we have a filter which we need to trust, and it goes under the name of intuition, because there are great fridge fixers who have qualification. I'm a qualified fridge fixer.
Yeah.
And there are qualified fridge fixers who are shit.
I think he was that one.
Yeah, so we have to make that decision on the basis of what we think is right. We just have to follow our heart and our intuition and our feelings, and you know, you're not a stupid man, and if people tell you that you're stupid, it's because they are intellectual snobs who are themselves stupid because they have accepted a version of programmed intelligence and they're trying to impose it on you. Fuck them.
Right. Fair enough.
I mean...
But what I don't get with that is, and you'll know on Radio 1, Lady Gaga. She's walking around in a dress made of meat, wasn't she? Yet they're calling me an idiot. That's what annoys me. I haven't done anything wrong. There's nothing that I'd see and I go, oh, I wish I didn't say that, or react like that. I think most people would react.
Carl's not an idiot.
I'm not an idiot. I didn't do well at school.
No, it's more to do with the fact that he's got that you know, what you call Little Englander syndrome, where, you know, he packs sliced white bread and tea bags when he goes abroad. So that was the sort of gag. Also that he, you know, he sort of made his mind up about the world when he was about 14 or 15. So I was, you know, we were trying to get that out of him. But Carl's not an idiot. Carl's one of the smartest, sharpest people I know, genuinely. And he's got things worth a lot more than just bland facts and knowledge.
Carl, I've been listening to, well, you three, you know, when you got Steve and you were doing the show years and years ago when we first started, I was listening to it and I was hooked on it and have been, you know, through the podcast and everything. But actually, some of the stuff you used to say was quite profound in a weird way.
Because he's got no filter. He hasn't got a pretentious bone in his body, and he says exactly what he thinks, and that's what's fascinating. And he changes his mind. And I think he's really self-educated. I think he's educated himself, you know. I mean, Shakespeare made up words, and Carl's made up a few, haven't you?
Yeah, I mean, he did. That's all he did, isn't it?
You made up, didn't you? Foodage.
Grippage.
Mainly put in A-G-E on the end of stuff. But yeah.
Making up words is easy. It's remembering other people's words, isn't it? That's hard.
Yeah. What advice would you give to kids at school now? What would you say?
I don't know anymore. I mean, like I say, I feel a bit out of me depth there today in Radio 1. It's, you know,
he said he was glad he was bald today because he saw a few haircuts that looked weird.
Honestly, it's like being in Total Recall. Do you know, like how that was the future? And suddenly, it's like, I swear, Radio 1, you come in, you go downstairs, and it's like you enter a different world in here. You go into the basement, and there's all these people coming out of the dark alleys and stuff, mad haircuts, jeans round their ankles. Don't bother putting pants on. If you're not going to pull them up, don't wear them, because they're not doing the job. If you've got to bend down to get your keys out of your pocket, what is the point? It's just different. Just goes to show you, your imagination is great, innit?
It is, yeah.
And that was the other thing. It's like, when I did Sick of It, some people were like, yeah, it was all right, but I'd love it if you did, like, a series talking, like, a comedy thing of, like, what your life was like growing up, all the stories you've talked about on the radio and podcast, like, film them. And it's like, it would never be as good as you've pictured it in your head. All the stories I've talked about growing up on the estate and that, you've imagined them in your head, and it's better than it's ever going to be. If I pick someone to play the part of my mum and dad, that isn't how I pictured your mum and dad.
And also, some of those shows haven't worked out great.
Well, they haven't. Yeah. They haven't. So, but people don't always really know what they want. They think they know what they want. Then when you give it them, they go, oh, you shouldn't have done that. I preferred it on the podcast.
Yeah.
Because that's what happened. We did, you know...
Because you're telling it as like a raconteur.
Yeah.
And you tell it as a great anecdote.
Yeah. And then
but
suddenly...
for whatever reason, And also, we love to use our imagination,
yes.
don't we? So when you tell those stories and we're at home listening...
That's what I'm saying. It's like you can't beat someone's imagination.
Yeah.
They'll be happy with what they're creating in their head, so why change it? But it's the same, you know, it's like, for people who have never heard of me before, I did radio, and
how did you catch that break into radio then?
It's a weird one, because it came at quite a time when I thought my life was going to change for the worse in a way. Like I say, I listened to the radio as a kid and thought, yeah, I want to do that. And I did a bit of DJing, you know, I got decks and that. And then my dad had to have a heart operation, and like this was about 87, 88, and I remember like my mum was dead worried. It was quite a big deal back then. I think the operation he had wasn't. Now they do it and you're in and out in a day.
Yeah.
But back then it was almost like we've got the world's best doctors in for this.
Oh, Carl.
I don't think so. I mean, it's Wythenshawe Hospital in Manchester, but they got in people who can mess about with arts, and they got on with that. And my dad sort of said to me beforehand, this isn't straightforward. Might not come out of this. You've got to look after your mum. And my mum was like dead upset. I remember we went to the Wythenshawe Hospital, left him, went home, and my mum was sat on the end of the bed, sort of really upset. And I kind of felt like, shit, if this goes wrong, this could change everything, because suddenly you feel like you've got a responsibility. I'm like, I've got to look after everything, and that I remember thinking, I don't like this. So I went from that to then visiting my dad after the operation. He turned out all right. Visiting him in the hospital, and a lad coming round going, "Do you want a request on the radio?" And I was like, "What are you doing?" And he said, "Oh, we do hospital radio." And I was like, what do you mean? How does that work? And he's like, I said, "Do you get paid?" He said, "No, you don't get paid. It's voluntary, but you play records and I said, "All right, how do you get into that?" And he was like, "Oh, just send us a note if you're interested. Send a letter in and we'll get back to you." And that's how it started. So it's weird that there was this point in my life that it could have been a different, like sliding doors, that
Totally.
film. My dad could have died. I could have ended up having to look after my mum. I wouldn't have had the opportunities. I wouldn't have moved to London. So that could have changed, but it went the other way. And like going to the hospital, meeting that, and then I did hospital radio for a bit, and met someone who knew someone at Piccadilly who did a night shift, and they used to help answer his phones and that. And he was like, "I can't do it anymore." I think he was moving to Kent or something. And he said, "Do you want to go in and answer the phones?" And I thought, definitely.
I bet you couldn't believe it.
Definitely. It's so weird.
To go from visiting your dad to hospital radio to now you get the break in this.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're not.
And it's just getting your foot in the door.
Manchester, the Piccadilly radio, such an iconic.
It was massive. I mean, back then as well, it was massive.
Chris Evans caught his
Chris
break
Evans was on there. Quite a few names, like Timmy Mallet. I know it's not the same, but Gary Davis.
Yeah.
There's a lot of radio people who came through there. And once I got my foot in there, that was it. It was like, I'm not letting this go, because I knew, like by that point, my exams were shit. I really wanted to. I knew that it was like, this is what I wanted. This is the dream sort of thing. And once I got in there, whilst they answered the phones, I just go into studios and teach myself to edit, doing little demo tapes and stuff. And then I kind of started earning money putting out pre-recorded shows. Like, presenters who didn't want to work at the weekend used to just record all the links on a bit of tape.
You'd have had the passion that a lot of those guys...
Oh, I loved it.
I'm not knocking any other guys there, but because this was your boyhood dream,
Yeah,
you got all the passion, the energy, the enthusiasm.
Yeah, and I was getting paid. And that was my life, in a way. For years, I spent most of my time there. If there was any work that was there and a chance to earn some money doing what I like, I just took it. And I basically lived there. I mean, I buggered myself up, I think, because I remember being physically sick from being tired.
Yeah.
But kind of like, no, I'll do it. And it's just all come from that point. And I've never got a job through like an interview. I've never had to go into an interview and sell myself. It's been sort of from that point, getting my foot in.
Organic.
And then like proving
that
it's like, no, I can do this. Just give us a chance, I'll do it, and I'll work hard, and then that's better than any sort of qualification or bigging yourself.
Because anyone can wing an interview, can't they?
You can, yeah. Not that much changes, does it? It's sort of just new buildings and, covers of old songs. There's nothing new happening as much. Whereas if you were born, say, at the beginning of time, you would have really experienced everything, wouldn't you? Do you ever sort of think about that?
I just accept the now principle. This is where I am now. That's all that matters.
And what about, where you live? London, I find quite stressful. I'm only here because this is where, the work is.
It is stressful. I agree. Any doubt.
Yeah. Well, will you move around? Will you try and see the world? Or
I don't know. I couldn't really answer that.
Yeah. But if you're living forever, aren't you tempted to go to places that are a bit dangerous? And because I fancy seeing a tornado, but I know it's dangerous. But if I knew that nothing was going to happen to me, I'd go and I'll go to Texas and chase a couple.
Well, the answer is definitely no. And just to surprise you a bit more, is that I've never been abroad in my life.
You've never been abroad?
No.
Why not?
Why should I? That's a good...
Because it's, I mean...
We're all different, aren't we?
We are, and to be honest, if you want for my girlfriend, I probably wouldn't go away as much as I do. She likes travelling, and I just go along because I don't want to be left on my own.
See.
But at the same time, I don't regret it, because you learn a lot, don't you, from other places?
Well, I'm sure you can.
But you've just avoided that.
Yes, I mean, there's other things I can learn from, other people, places. I'm not too concerned about it. I probably may not have anyone to go with, good company or anything, so I haven't gone.
Yeah, but you can meet people away. You go away and
strangers. They don't. It can be very difficult. You might find no one there you can get on with. It's all a bit of a risk, and you don't always feel like making the effort. You don't see any point. Some people find making friends easier than others,
and you don't.
I don't find it particularly easy.
Why is that? Is that
a touchy subject, that, for me?
Why?
Well, I don't really have many...
But that's by choice.
Not by choice, just, it's the people you meet, isn't it? I mean...
Well, there isn't many people around who you want as a friend?
Well, there aren't any that have come across who could be. This is the whole thing.
Right. You got moved to London?
Yeah.
So what, was that your choice, or was that through the station?
That was my only choice, to be honest. I used to
Was it move to London or get made redundant?
Well, I was made redundant, well, sacked.
I got told that. I lived in Leeds, was a sports writer. You either we're going to make you redundant, or you move to London.
Well, it was a bit different from that. It was you mean they sent you to London? It's like there's a job there. Well, I had a job at Piccadilly. I had a job on air doing my own show through the night. Got sacked off that for talking too much because the station had changed a bit.
Yeah.
And Steve Penk, who used to do the breakfast show, I used to produce his breakfast show after I did a night shift from 2 till 6.
So you hosted your own show 2 till 6?
Did my own show 2 till 6, and then after that I had to produce the breakfast show 6 till 10.
What do you mean you talk too much?
Yeah.
What do they want? More music?
Yeah, the strapline was like Key 103, the most music, and I was playing about 3 songs an hour. And I kind of thought, because it's through the night...
Do those recordings still exist?
I doubt it. Well, I doubt it, because that was one of my jobs to put in. It was videotapes, and you had like 3 video recorders recording all the output of the station.
Yeah.
And it was your job to sort of change those tapes, and there was times I forgot.
Sure.
So, I suppose technology... I don't know.
Yeah.
They haven't cropped up yet, and that must have been, early 90s. So, yeah, I'd just waffle on. And
then, sorry, Steve Penk, you were saying.
Steve Penk. So I'd do my 4 hours, and then I'd answer calls for Steve Penk and make promos for his show, make him tea, set up callers. It's just all that sort of producing thing. People always go, people say Karl's daft and that, but he was a radio producer, as if like you have to be bright. I know this to radio producers out there, but it's not hard. It really isn't. Unless you're on like maybe 5 Live or Radio 4, where you're maybe listening to interviews and you're going, that's liable or whatever. But I was just dealing with putting Edna on, who's requesting Elvis. Do you know what I mean? There was nothing hard about it. There was no struggle. So I did that. But the boss, they used to do these things called Snoop tapes, where they'd listen to your show and they'd just get you in for a meeting and play it to you in front of you. And I remember like one link that, I was talking for about 4 minutes or something, and he was just sat there looking at his watch, like as if to say, how much longer is this going on? And he stopped it. He went, you got to stop doing this. Otherwise, you're not right for the station. I was like, all right. I walked off, and then I kind of carried on because I thought, well, I don't just want to do that sort of... China Crisis there, and they're coming up, Boys to Men, stay there, it's 20 to 4 in the morning. And I used to sort of think the people listening to it are security men, nurses, cab drivers. They all want the callers used to enjoy the stories or the competition.
They want communication,
competitions,
don't
yeah. And I used to say that, and they were like, "It's not our strapline." It's like, yeah, but I was here before the strapline.
Yeah.
And I used to listen to this station before that strapline. There's people out there who don't all want to hear the same fucking 4 songs. I mean, it really was tight.
I'll make
I
love
can remember
to
the
you.
CD numbers of some of these, because it was just like the same shit. And even that, I'd changed the music a little. I didn't go mad, but I didn't always play the right songs. But so I carried on, and in the end, they got me in and sacked me from doing the show. But Steve Penk and this woman called Rose, who was the boss's PA, said, he's a good lad. He works hard. He can still carry on doing the technical operating and the producing. So at least I was earning some money. I was a bit gutted I was off air, but I didn't want to do a show that meant...
That you didn't want to do?
Not through the night. It was doing me no good.
Yeah.
Really unhealthy lifestyle, innit?
Yeah.
Being up all night.
Yeah.
Just to play fucking Boys to Men every night. So I thought, that's the end of that. I always wanted to do it. It was the dream. Again, a bit like what I said earlier. Sometimes the dream isn't as good as the dream. It's, so it's the end of that dream. But I've got a job and just produced a show. And then Steve Penk left to come to London, to go to Capital, and I can't remember who took over the breakfast show, but someone did who had their mate to be the producer. And I got into production, which meant like doing all the promos for the station, like sort of all technical term here for people who don't know, but basically just like making adverts and stuff. But even that, there was 3 of us doing that, and then I think there must have been a recession, and they said, we don't want 3 of you doing it, we just need 1 of you doing it. So it was sort of, when you say redundancy, that normally means you're given some money, doesn't it?
Oh, I've had times where I've been made redundant and given
nothing.
Money.
Yeah, I think that was the case with this one. It was like maybe 1 month, and it was like halfway through the month anyway, so it was like a couple of weeks' wages. And then Steve Penk, who was coming to London, said, have a word with this boss of Capital. I was like, I don't know. But I was with Suzanne then, my girlfriend, and she just said, look, you've got nothing else going on.
So why not?
Why not? And I was like, I don't want to go to London. What do I want to go to London for? This is where my life is and that. Yeah, but there's nothing going on here. So I called up and they got me in for a meeting. In fact, it was really good. I think rather than the redundancy, the station gave me tickets to see Michael Jackson at Wembley. Brilliant, that, isn't it? Got a mortgage to pay. Not giving you any money, but here's some tickets to see Jacko. Anyway, I took them, and what I did was I arranged to have the meeting with the bloke at Capital FM when I was down here to see Michael Jackson.
Nice.
So that sort of covered the train fare and everything. So I went in, met him, got on with him all right, and he was like, nothing's there at the minute. You can't work with Steve Penk. We've got our own producers, but we'll give you, something might come up. And that's where it all sort of started. They gave me a job at... they were meant to be buying Virgin Radio, but it fell through. And they'd sent me to a station in Kent, in Victor, to do training, because all the equipment was different. I was used to using reel-to-reel on tape. But by this point, in London, it was all digital editing. So we were a bit behind in Manchester. I didn't even use email. I remember coming down here, and it was like, set up your email account. I'm like, what are you talking about? It was like I'd gone into the future. Like I'd been in a coma and gone, like a caveman who had just been dropped into this world. Set up an email and going, I don't know what you mean. And I remember sending my first email, and then the boss coming down going, why are you shouting? Stop shouting. I thought, everything's in capitals. And going, well, yeah. So what? That's how I write. Because when I write in print, everything's capital. So why keep having to press this button for certain words to have a big letter? So I was like, just caps lock it. Sending everything. It's like, he's mad him, that northern bloke. He's shouting at everyone. Anyway, so that's where it all started. I was sent there to do my training, and on the hope that I was living in London, or rented a flat in London, because I said to the boss, I have not left Manchester to work at Tin Pot. No disrespect to the station there, but it was a bit crap. It's gone now. Station in Kent. I haven't left Manchester to work there. I've come to work in London.
Sure.
So he was like, yeah. Anyway, that station fell through. Buying Virgin fell through. I think that's when Chris Evans bought it or something.
Ah, right, yeah.
But the boss was like, don't worry, we're going to be buying this station that we think suited for you, which was XFM.
Yeah.
So it kind of all worked out. It was a battle, and I was driving to Kent and back every day. I had to get up at like 5 a.m. to get over to, it was near Whitstable, and I lived on the Docklands, so I was near the Blackwall Tunnel and stuff. But I was just working like a nutter. Girlfriend was with me. She didn't have a job yet. I had a flat in Salford on a mortgage that I was struggling to pay for, as well as the rent. And I think I'd saved up money. I'd always been
a good saver.
Yeah. I always wanted to make money, and I didn't really know what it was for, but I always saw it as a security. It's like my dad always struggled but paid the bills, and it was like that was in my head. It's like, you've got to pay your way, So I was always like, money, making money. From a young age as well, like just always coming up with ideas, making money. So I'd literally spent all my savings on this flat in Salford and the renting a flat in London. And, you know, my mum and dad didn't have any money. And they always talk about the time when they came down to visit and I was really struggling. Like, you know, they knew that it was all coming to an end. It looked like I'd probably have to move back. And then I got a phone call from an agent, like a estate agent in Manchester, saying, we can let you flat out. I was like, oh God, that'll help big time. Because it was in quite a rough bit of town. So I was thinking, no one's going to want to rent it. Someone rented it. And then I think like a day after, someone called and Suzanne got a job. So suddenly it was like, oh,
double
God,
whammy of goodness.
Yeah, it's like we were so close. It's that thing again of like we've tried,
sliding doors
hasn't worked out, we've got to go. But yeah, it just all happened at the right time. And my dad always talked, because they were there. He always talks about it. He goes, "Oh, I remember," and it was years ago. But obviously, mums and dads can see what you're going through probably, and they probably saw the relief and the weight lifted off my shoulders when suddenly it was like, we're all right. We can buy a bit more time here. And I got that job at XFM, and that was going all right. I got on quite a good wage, and then obviously Ricky and Steve came back, and again, a little bit of luck. I was just put with them as a producer to put on the adverts and put in the CDs and for their show. And then I used to talk to them, and they'd be like, just, you know, do that bit, do that thing you just told us on air. And I was like, no chance, because I'm having flashbacks of being bollocked at that station in Manchester and being fired. And now, like, you know, rent's not cheap in London. I was like, I'm not doing it. And they were like, no, go on, you're with us. It's all right, don't worry. So slowly, it was like each week they'd sort of get me on the show a little bit more, a little bit at a time, just like the odd link and what have you. And then before I knew it, it was like I was kind of part of that show, and it's everything since. It's all gone from that, really. So yeah, it's a weird. It's been an odd sort of path, but everything from that. From doing the show with Ricky and Steve, I sort of enjoyed radio before that. I started to hate it a little bit when I was with them. They just do me head in a little bit. And then all the stuff that's followed, it's never really been the dream. It's just stuff that's come along
as a result
of that. Jellyfish, when they first came out, they were nothing. Jellyfish are nothing, aren't they? They're just a blob. So
when they first came out, when they were first released,
new by Ron Cow.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is, even though they were nothing, they've grown to have a bit of something, just to get by in a busy place.
I don't know what you're talking about. It's all guesswork and conjecture.
It's not guesswork. I've been
it's all nonsense.
I've been reading all this and watching stuff.
Carl, you haven't learned anything.
Well, that's not entirely true, because he's obviously learnt enough to have written a poem about some of these subjects.
Oh, I love his poems. Are you getting into poetry now, properly?
I really like it, yeah.
Is Carl going to read this for me, Steve?
If you want him to.
I think so.
I did one about my kidneys.
What was it called?
Didn't have a name, it doesn't need it.
Ode to a Nephron.
Right, I did two about jellyfish.
Excellent.
I don't like jellyfish. They're not a fish, they're just a blob. They don't have eyes, fins or scales like a cod. They float about blind, stinging people in the seas, and no one eats jellyfish with chips and mushy peas. Get rid of them. And then there's just a shorter one I did about a jellyfish. It would be spiteful to put jellyfish in a trifle. But that's what I'm saying about, you know, the brain. I don't understand how it jumped so quickly. For me, I mean, see, do you know you're open to theories and things? I'm sort of thinking, the brain, is there any chance that could have come from somewhere else? Like a type of... Like an alien. I don't want to say alien because it makes it sound daft.
I mean, not you don't think you're daft. It's simply unlikely. In any case, you haven't solved the problem, or you've pushed it back to another planet, because the phenomenon which puzzles you of saying how did our brain suddenly become so much more intelligent. Maybe it was an alien who came and told us about things.
Yeah.
You then ask the question, well, who told the alien?
Who told the alien what?
That who made him clever?
Because they're better, aren't they, on other planets?
Who says so?
Just because of the spaceships they've got and everything. We haven't got them yet. So if they've got the spaceships, I've got to guess they've got better.
How do you know?
Just when you see them, they look sort of really futuristic.
But you've never seen one.
No, I know, but I just look at pictures and
I know, but the pictures are drawn by people like you.
But you are happy with it. You're not.
Yeah, I've adjusted. In life, you have to adjust to things, don't you? Whatever happens, you never know what's going to happen. I mean, one hope it doesn't happen to you, but you could one day have an accident, or you lose an arm. Well, it's terrible to start off with, but after a while, you have to adjust, because some people in a situation like that might get very bitter for the rest of their life.
Yeah.
So
it's understandable, though, isn't it?
Yeah, it's understandable if they do. That's not a very good analogy there.
But what about you? You know, you sort of living forever though. You could still lose an arm or a leg, couldn't you?
Well, no. I'm protected by the spirit world. That sort of situation won't occur.
What? No harm at all. You can't.
Within reason. I mean, obviously you can get a cold or things like that, but
you can't lose a leg, or
no, that's impossible.
What do you mean?
Well, I'm protected by. See, people think there's only one world, the physical world, but there's two worlds: the physical world and the spirit world. I'll still be in the physical world, whereas you'll be in the spirit world.
But doesn't that annoy you, because you'll never get to see the spirit world?
Well, it is possible. Some people have seen glimpses of the spirit world before they physically die. There's something called near-death experiences.
Yeah, I've had that.
You have?
Yeah.
Oh,
It was on an ice pop.
Oh, I see.
That went down the wrong way on my throat and I was choking, and my mum had to give me that fireman's thing where they, get air to you, squeeze you around the belly.
Oh, I see.
But I didn't see anything. I didn't see like a person standing over me saying welcome or whatever would happen.
I see. Very good. So it was an uplifting experience.
It's horrible.
I'm sure it is. Well, they are.
I always say what I live to be about 74, 75, and then I reckon by that point I'll have had enough, I think.
You think? Oh, dear.
How old are you now?
Well, see, now let's make clarification, because you're talking about age for a minute. See, in this alternative frame, I won't age. So I won't get any older than I am now.
What, in terms of the way you look?
Physical, yeah. Now, let's see how old when my body stopped aging in 1986, so that now I was 42.
You're 42. So birthdays, in effect, they're a waste of time to you, aren't they? Because it doesn't mean anything.
Well, do they mean anything to you?
It just means I'm getting a bit nearer to dying.
That's how you perceive it. Some people like celebrating their birthdays regardless.
No, I don't. So what do you do for a birthday? I mean, is this sort of an in-joke with your friends? And
No, it's just someone might send me a card and that's it. I mean, I'm not too concerned.
No, but do they joke in it? It's like, here's another one.
No. If I tell people about my vocation in life and they want proof, I normally don't give it, because I'm not there to prove anything. I'm there, my mission is to tell people about it, anyone who's particularly interested. I'm not there to convince them that I'm right. They can go away and think I'm a complete lunatic, for all that matters. I'm not worried.
Do you think they'll start listening more when you're a lot older, because then they'll go, oh, he wasn't joking?
They might make a joke later, but they might have died by the time, it doesn't really matter, does it? I mean,
I don't know what matters. That's kind of, I just bumble along, that's what you do. You're born and you try and get on with it and you try and enjoy yourself. But everything in life normally comes to an end, doesn't it? So it's hard to get your head around. It's like when people say the universe goes on forever. You go, oh, don't talk about it.
Well, so what? If it does, big deal, so what?
Well,
it doesn't affect you.
No, but it's weird. You can't get your head around it, can you? Because everything's got a lifespan normally.
Well, we all think everything has a beginning and an end.
But most things do.
Something, yeah, but...
Tell me something else apart from you that is going to be on this planet forever.
Well, the earth, isn't it?
Yeah, but it's always been turfed and that, isn't it?
Yeah, well, that's about it.
All you're doing is having a haircut. I'm talking about like something that lasts forever, that you don't have to do anything to. There's nothing.
I don't think there's anything, to be quite frank.
A tortoise, that is the only thing that you sort of think lives for ages, but even forever.
No, but 250 years if they're lucky, I think.
How many? 250?
I think they can live for 250 years, I think.
Well, they never look happy, do they? That's.
Well, I don't know. They live in a world of their own.
I went to Brazil because I thought it felt to me like it was somewhere that didn't really exist. You know, it's a kind of fantasy world. I kind of thought of that. Is it a real place or is it just a state of mind where the sun's always shining and people are always on the beach?
Yeah.
And everyone's eternally happy. So I wanted to go and find out. It can't be true that there's a place like that. But it is, almost.
Did you go to a nudist beach? That's what I was taken to one of them when I was in Brazil.
No, I didn't.
You know, I don't need an all-over tan. You know, who's that for? Who's seeing that? So
what do you wear normally? If you're on a Brazilian beach, what would you be wearing?
I had sort of, you know, quite long shorts on. I like having pockets that I can shove stuff in.
Yeah. Action trousers,
yeah,
to call them.
Yeah, I like them. Keep a t-shirt on. Hat, so I don't burn my head.
Yeah.
Socks with trainers.
That's really overdressed for a Brazilian beach, isn't it?
I did feel it,
It's
but
like
at the
you're
same...
dressed for winter.
No, I know.
Yeah, so what happened on the nudist beach then? You couldn't sort of
I sat
stand
there.
around in all your gear.
They took me there early, and I was sat down, and then I just saw this bloke put sort of under a tent getting drinks ready for the day, and he bent over to go in the fridge, and it was one of those sort of double takes. I've got my pants on.
Yeah.
Sometimes you're thinking, what are you thinking? Why are you showing that off? I mean, I don't like my body. You know, if I look at it, if I get a glimpse of it in a shower, or I had to have a medical check, and I told him I had a bad back, and in the end, he sort of said, drop your trousers. So I did, and he went, no, your underpants as well.
Yeah.
And I hadn't had that.
Bad back.
For a bad back, yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
And but you do, because if a doctor tells you to do something, you do it, don't you?
Did he ask you to
cough?
And
He did
held your
that.
balls?
Yeah, he did. Yeah, he did that, and then he put them back up. But the thing is, I was stood in front of a mirror, and I saw a glimpse of me, stood there with my trousers around my ankles, and it was something that I just thought, that's horrible. That it's a horrible sight, and you should keep covered up. There's nothing that I thought I wish I could show this off more.
The thing is, Karl, that you never seem to really be enjoying yourself when you're out there.
I don't know. At the end of the day, I lie there, wherever I am, and the amount of times I'm lying somewhere, like a hole somewhere or a tent, just thinking, what am I doing? Loads of times.
Yeah.
Why am I doing this? Nearly 40. I should just get a normal job.
I'm nearly 70. I still write down, why am I doing this?
Why do you do it?
Why do I do it? Good question. Gets me out of the house.
Yeah, but you see, I like being in the house. That's when I'm most happy. Pottering about, painting a door. I was cleaning tiles yesterday.
Were you?
Floor tiles.
And you're happy?
Sat there with Sif.
Yeah.
Just sort of like, it's like Buddhism, just Zen.
Yeah, because what I like about travelling, I don't know whether you have this quite the same, is that it is a bit... It's an adventure in another world. I quite like that. I kind of surrender to it because I want it to be different. I enjoy the difference. I mean, do you like, when you were growing up or whatever, I mean, do you read books about foreign places? Do you? No, you didn't go into all that, because I like geography at school. Did you like geography?
No. You see, it wasn't... I went to a rubbish school, so it was kind of... I think the geography teacher was a PE teacher, and it was... You know, we didn't get taught anything, really. The first place I went abroad was Ibiza, when I was 22.
It's not quite abroad, really, is it? Or did you savour the lovely sort of foreign countryside and Spanish culture?
No, it was a mate who knew someone who had a sort of a villa there, and it was horrible. And the problem was he rented it out to anyone, and we got there and the toilet was full and had like a hard crust because of the hot weather. And the first day was spent sort of chipping away at that. So that was my first experience of this exotic travel. sort of chipping away at the hard layer, you know, getting through to the softer stuff before you could actually flush it. So it's not, for me, it wasn't like, oh, where have I been? You know, I should do more of this. So what about, like, the way the world's going? Because everyone's always worrying about the world, aren't they, saying global warming, stuff like that?
Best thing, perhaps, is not to listen to the news. Read the news and newspaper, all you do is get depressed.
I know, well, I said this to someone the other day and they had a bit of a go at me because I was saying I prefer not to know a lot of stuff.
I think you're very wise and sensible to say that.
I know, but people don't like it. They don't like it, do they?
Whatever you say, there's always going to be someone who doesn't like what you're saying.
The other day, put it on, the news was saying, we're not having Mother's Day anymore. It's like, what's all that about? Oh, because it upsets orphans. And it's like, what are they telling us that for?
Well, some things are a bit ridiculous.
I know, but that's just it, isn't it? And that's why sometimes the world annoys me. And at least I've got a point in it where I can go, let me off, and I die. Whereas with you, you've got to sit through all this.
See, that's outside my control. I can't do anything about the world. The world carries on regardless, but it certainly won't end. It'd be continuous, because obviously if I'm here forever, then obviously the world will still be here. But don't ask me what state it would be in. I mean, they just have to handle things as they happen. I mean, anything could happen.
That's why I'm sort of glad that I haven't got what you've got, because I think I would. I'd be worrying all the time. I'd be thinking, where do I want to be living? What job do I want to be doing? Do I want to have kids? Will we get a dog? You know what I mean? It's all hassle, isn't it? Waking up every day. It's like, have you seen Groundhog Day?
I have seen the film, yes.
That's kind of what you're like, but on a bigger scale, isn't it? It's like, here we go again. It's a Thursday.
Well,
Thursday.
We're sure there must be some good things happening, as well as the other side of the picture.
What, for me? Or for you?
Well, for
everyone. Yeah, you get a good day now and again, don't you? And you have a nice holiday and stuff.
It's very important, obviously, to remember that never worry about what you haven't got, because you must appreciate what you have got. Everyone's different. It doesn't mean that person. Never be envious of somebody else, regardless. You don't want people to have to go through. You know, you walk around and you see these people living in these fantastic houses and very famous and all this. I mean, as I say, you don't know what people have to go through in order to get where they are and what they've got and all the other problems involved in their lives, their relationship problems, etc., etc., etc.
Yeah. But you'll have loads of them because you can't avoid, like, problems just crop up, don't they? But saying that, if the same problem crops up for you, you'll be ready to handle it, won't you? You'll go, this happened 900 years ago, and this is how I dealt with it.
I don't know, the same problem never really crops up again. It always comes up a bit different. And you're in a different situation, and etc., etc.
No, but I just mean, like, in my flat, I'm constantly having problems with the boiler.
I see.
The first time it happened, it's like, oh, what's up with this? And then the second time, like, the boiler man's told you a little trick to do, and then you do that and that sorts it out, so you're not as stressed, but then it happens again.
Well, it's a nightmare.
Yeah, it is.
It sounds like it. Has it been resolved?
Not really.
Are you a private tenant?
Yeah.
But what's happened at the moment? Situation
just having cold showers. Boiling the kettle.
It could be dangerous, couldn't it? What's the landlord? You got a landlord?
There's like a service charge company who looks after the block, but I own the flat.
I see. Oh dear.
But they don't want to know, do they? They're not bothered.
I see. I'm with you. I've got a problem.
What's your ambition?
I've never had one since I had one when I was a kid. I wanted to be on the radio, and then I managed that. Is that what ambition means? Is it always work related?
No, not always. No.
I feel like I should do more when I'm always talking about being in work and not working anymore. I tried it once. I tried retiring once. I lasted 7 months. I was like, I can't do it. But I know that feeling's coming on again that I can't do work anymore because it does me head in. And, you know, I watch the news and you hear about people who do something more with their life. Do you know when they do something for a charity?
I agree. I feel the same. I feel like I should do something more.
It's like, what can I do? But what worries me is suddenly they say, yeah, especially when you've done stuff on the telly, suddenly you're special for some reason. I don't know why, because we're all knobheads at the end of the day on the telly. It's because we're no good at anything else and anything important. And yet they sort of go, will you be an ambassador for something? And you go, come off it. You know, that means standing in front of people and being a good talker. And,
you'd be good at that.
Oh, come on, honestly, I'm so not. It depends what mood I'm in.
Right.
And I can't do like these speeches. Yeah, that, you know, like
Come on, people. You know, like people can, like Morgan Freeman at the end of Independence Day and all that. I'm not that sort. So a bit of me feels like I should do something that's really worthwhile. Maybe, because it's not over, is it? Just because you're dead doesn't mean it's over.
You can leave your legacy.
You can leave something. You can leave a quote or a way. And I might do something in the future. I don't know. Something could happen around the corner that I don't know about yet. There's a quote about how you die twice. And it was like once when you die, and then again when your name's said for the last time.
Oh, right. I've never heard that before.
It's good, isn't it?
Yeah, it's like a finality, isn't it?
Someone at some point, because people still talk about you when you're dead, and then at some point, somewhere on the planet, someone will say your name for the last time, and then that's it, they move on, and no one talks about you again. But so you never know. You never know if... I hear stuff. I hear bits... like stuff that I've done in the past has cheered people up. And they tell me how it brought people out of a dark space or whatever. And you go, oh, that's good. Because at the time when I was doing the thing, I wasn't thinking about this being that important. And then you hear how it's changed someone's life and you go, well, that's a pretty nice feeling. So maybe we're all going to do it without even knowing it. Should you know? Is it so we feel better?
Probably. Or just some people like to have that personal kind of goal, that focus. I suppose it depends on your character, doesn't it?
You see, because I've never really had a proper plan, I don't know. I haven't got an aim, and maybe that's better. And an ambition, anything else that I'm thinking of.
It's probably less pressure. It's probably a more peaceful life.
I think so. I think that's where everything's going wrong. All this, I've never had a 5-year plan. People talk about 5-year plans and... You've got to be better, you've got to do better. It's such an unhealthy message, isn't it? It's a bit like how the money thing, how businesses run. And, you know, it's like we've got to make more money this year. We've got to make more. Why aren't you just happy with the amount you made last year? It's enough, isn't it? You're paying everyone. Yeah. Staff's being made, profit's being made. Why is it always more? Get more. It's kind of like, no, get less. Do less this year. And then next year do a bit more. Or whatever, or get the same.
Maybe that is progress. Everyone's just like, looking always forward, but maybe just sort of standing still is progress, isn't it? If you're churning over and you're operating, that's all you need to do.
Yeah, you're not dead. You're carrying on. You've got up. You're doing something. It's so unhealthy, isn't it? She was kept going on, and it was doing me head in. So I said, "All right, I'll open it." Yeah. So I opened it. Ticket fell out. Surprise holiday to one of the Canary Islands. So.
And what was your reaction? I mean,
first one was we haven't got enough money.
Right.
For this. But I didn't want to ruin it, so...
No.
So I didn't go on about that, and I said, oh, it'd be great. So I can't wait.
So, did you say it in that tone of voice?
Well, it was good timing, because I was tired and everything. And I'm not a big holiday fan, but the timing was right. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? It's the same as last night. I don't always like a curry, but last night...
You're in the mood.
You get that sort of, oh, yeah.
Curry, you had a feeling.
Yeah, you had a feeling.
You thought, and then, lo and behold, later you were eating the curry. Right. It's weird, isn't it? Isn't it weird, the paranormal? Isn't it weird?
They work in mysterious ways, ghosts.
Yeah.
So anyway, right, the island, if I was on Wish You Were Here, I'd probably say it's a bit barren.
Okay.
Not much there, but if you get a hotel, you guarantee good weather. Right.
Are you?
No, what I mean is, it'll be a good holiday. If you get a hotel, right, the weather's always good, so you'll have a nice time.
Yeah, it was a comma, it was a, go on.
And all that, and the food was alright, and everything was going alright. I was just having a nice, relaxing time.
And how do you sort of spend your time on a holiday? You just lie around? Is
that sort of holiday, just lying around. I bought a book.
You bought a book?
Yeah.
Okay, ghosts?
No, it was short stories, right?
About ghosts?
No, it was about like special days in our time and time before me and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
And it was like, it was telling you about how in, I think it was 1814, the Thames frozen up.
Yeah.
And all these stories are told by eyewitnesses.
Yeah.
Right? So there's some fella who was around in 1814, and the Thames was frozen, and people used to put market stalls on there, and they'd do the shopping. It was like like an Oxford Street.
Was that Mad Liar Charlie? No, because he's famous for that.
Well, I'm sure, you know.
No, I think that was Mad Liar Charlie.
Right.
Yeah.
So I was reading that, and then after a couple of days was a bit like, oh...
boring.
Yeah, you can only do sort of so much lying around.
And so much reading.
So, Suzanne said, let's go on the beach, have a walk.
You ain't gone on the beach?
Where had you been up to this point then? In your room?
No, just like round the pool, just relaxing and having a swim and that.
Yeah.
So she said, let's go on the beach. I said, all right then, yeah. So, wandered down to the beach, and first impressions are, yeah, it's all right, it's clean.
Your criteria is so basic, it's brilliant. Right. Hotel, yes. Roof, good. Food, adequate. Beach, clean. Next.
So I'm walking along, and everything's good, and, you know, there's a woman feeding fish bread, which I thought, that's different.
I love that. He likes originality. He loves a bit of originality.
He was feeding fish bread.
This woman was there, like, up to her knees in water.
Yeah.
And she was stood there.
Was that the sea?
Chucking, yeah.
Oh, right, good.
Chucking this bread, and I thought, what's she doing? And I stood there and watched for a minute, and there was little fish coming up, having the bread. I thought, oh. So we carried on walking, and, everything's going well, and then this fella comes towards me.
Everything's going well.
Yeah, that's
I haven't fallen over.
Clean feeding bread. 2 points for originality. Yeah.
Fella comes walking towards me.
Oi, oi.
He's only got no pants on.
Oh.
So I said, Suzanne, what's going on?
Why did he turn to her? Like she knows more than him.
So she said, oh, yeah, it's, she said, yeah, it's a nudity.
Is this going to be a long story? Could you pour that coffee? Can you give me that coffee over? Sorry, this is really bad. Yeah, because he's poured... Thank you.
Just amuse yourselves while we sort the coffee.
Thank you very much.
Do you want
I'll have a cup of coffee, Carl. Right. Thanks. Yeah. Cheers.
Cold. Right. Good. Okay.
So.
Great. Thank you.
So she said, yeah, it's a nudist beach. So I said, well, why? What? I said, we're all mixed. It's all mixed up. Normally on a nudist beach, it's a nudist beach, and you don't go wandering on there when you get your clothes on and that. So it annoyed me a bit. Because there wasn't any signs. So this fella's getting closer.
Well, the knob out was a sign.
Yeah. Right, so he's getting closer. And he walked past me, it was an old fella. And he walked past and he had a hat on and a little pipe. And a big rucksack on his back. Right, so he got me thinking...
Not strictly naked.
I'm walking along and I'm thinking... Right, why do people want to do this? So straight away, I wasn't on holiday anymore, because most of the time when I'm on holiday I don't think about anything. Right?
Your mind's a blank.
I just switch off. Right? But all of a sudden, this has got in my head now, and I turn around to look at him, and...
Check out his arse.
And this bag, right, I swear, it was massive, right?
What? You had a massive bag?
The bag.
His rucksack?
His rucksack.
Oh, right, okay. When he said there was an old couple coming towards me, I said, what was lower, the bloke's bollocks or the woman's tits? And he said, well, that was another point, she might as well have worn knickers. Because that's what he said to me.
So you saw the bag?
So it annoyed me, yeah, because the whole idea in it, this is what I think, I mean, I might be wrong, right? Might be wrong.
Chances are
you never have been before.
Being nudist, right? What's it all about?
I was wondering what your greatest achievement has been.
Greatest achievement, I've done that. I think going back, I mentioned it to you before about how, you know, I made programmes and stuff, and you just think, oh, it's fluffy telly, it's not important. What difference does it make? There's loads of TV channels, loads of programmes, it's just all filling time of people's lives before they do something that's really important. But I remember being in, it was after first series of Idiot Abroad, and I was doing second series of Idiot Abroad, and we'd landed in Alaska, and was waiting for the luggage, and someone came over. I said, oh, you Carl? I was like, yeah. And they said, will you come and say hello to family? I'm like, yeah, I'm not doing anything. We've got loads of luggage to wait for. Come over. Chatting, there was like 5 of them. And I was like, Carl, you just flew in. They were like, no, I've come to see you.
All right.
I was like, how did you know? And he went, oh, I've just heard. And I really don't know how they knew. But anyway, so stood there chatting. Wander off back. And then the mum comes running over and says, look, really appreciate that. I'm like, look, it doesn't matter. Just having a chat. It's fine. I was going nowhere. You're not holding me up. It's just a chat. And she was like, no, you don't understand. My daughter, she'd been really depressed. She'd lost her husband. And she hadn't laughed for ages. And then we were sat round the telly one night and we watched your programme. And then she'd laughed.
Oh wow!
And you don't understand. Like, she sort of snapped her out of it, and it's one of them things where I just was like, you sort of go, oh, you don't think about the knock-on effect that you can have when you do anything.
Yeah, for sure.
You just think, nothing you do is important. But, yeah, it sort of hit home that it was like, bloody hell, made a difference there.
Yeah.
And I'd sort of looked back and she was laughing and that. And you can imagine how important that... I mean, it's important to be able to laugh, innit?
Oh, God, yeah. Yeah.
So that I'd say that was a point when I kind of thought... Oh, this is worthwhile, actually.
Mm. And was that it sounds like quite a moment for you where you must have been walked away going, oh...
It just suddenly, it was just this thing, because remember, it was a programme called Idiot Abroad. I hated the title. So, and you kind of, you know, people judge me on that and they kind of don't know me and they just go, he's an idiot. And so that rubs off and... You kind of think, yeah, it is all pointless, and it's just, you know, what's it all about? But then hearing that from, it's not even friend of a friend said this, it was there.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
And the fact that she came back and, yeah, it's just one of them things. It stuck with me. I mean, that was about 2011. Maybe everyone since is going to know that knobhead. Can't stand him, but it doesn't matter because at one time it had made a difference.
Yeah, totally.
To that family,
and you saw her,
and I saw it. It wasn't just like, you know, I get messages now and stuff, and people say, "Oh, you brought me out of a low moment" or whatever. But it was seeing it.
Yeah.
And thank God, like I wasn't in a, you know, it was a long flight. Thank God I wasn't in a mood or something, and just went, we haven't got time. Do you know what I mean? It's like give people time because you never know what they're going to say.
Exactly.
And what that does to you, really.
It's true.
You know, it's like if I didn't know that story, I could still be sat here going, everything I've done is pointless. So as much as they were sort of saying thanks to me for what you've done, it was a little bit of a pat on the back as well.
Yeah.
To me, even though I felt like I didn't think I'd do that ever in my life, like I'd make a difference. But so I'd say it stuck with me, and I can't think of another moment.
I think that's a perfect way, actually.
Karl. He's wondering if you've got any personal mantras that you could pass along. For instance, he reminds us of Ben Franklin's famous mantra, waste not, want not.
Who said that?
Ben Franklin.
What did he do? What was his job?
Benjamin Franklin was a well-respected American politician from the 1800s. He was a sort of thinker, a philosopher, a scientist, deeply respected. Also a big political figure. He features on the dollar bill or the $10 bill or something. Yeah. So he's one of the great sort of American Enlightenment thinkers, and he came up with the mantra "waste not, want not."
You must know "waste not, want not." I mean, that's just.
Do you understand the phrase "waste not, want not"?
No, not really. No. What does it mean?
You've never heard that?
I think I've heard it, but I don't know. I've never used it. But when someone has said it, I don't know what.
Well, in context, I mean, all I'm going to do now is paraphrase that and put some prepositions and stuff in it for you. I can't work out how you can't work out what that means. It's like, don't throw stuff away because you might need it, and therefore you won't be wanting anything because you didn't throw it away. So
he was a bit of a hoarder.
Well, if you don't waste food, for instance, then you
won't... He's a bit of a hoarder!
For God's sake.
No, but I'm just saying, you know, he's a man in power. Is that the best thing he ever said?
No, I'm sure he came up with many, many profound things.
Why is that one
he did experiments in electricity and conducting electricity, all sorts.
But that impresses me more, inventing electricity, than someone...
He didn't invent electricity.
Wait a minute! Didn't impress you more than what?
Just saying, waste not, want not. I don't think it's that good. It's not even catchy. What I don't understand is why he was the first person to sort of suggest, look, don't go chucking that out, keep it, you might need it later.
He wasn't the first person. Say that again. That is brilliant. Why isn't that catch on? That is amazing that you've just come up with there. That's poetry. How would you word it?
I'd just say, whoa, don't be chucking that out, you might need that later.
Don't be chucking that out, you might need that later. Karl Pilkington.
Whereas some would argue that waste not, want not is perhaps a little bit more pithy, a little bit more...
We should go through great sayings and phrases and say
if he could, well, firstly, does he know what they mean? And then secondly, can he improve them?
That would be brilliant.
We'll do that next time.
Let's see. Okay, Winston Churchill. Never have so few done so much for so many. What do you think of that? Do you know what that means?
So he's saying...
Well, it's with regard to the Battle of Britain and the pilots that gave their lives.
Yeah, I'd just be annoyed if I was one of them who gave a lot for a few or whatever. Right.
No, gave a lot for so many. If you were one of those few that gave so much for so many, i.e., it means these few good men, their actions freed the world. They freed the world. They have an impact on every person in the world, and they were few brave men. Yeah, and that's what he's saying.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is, if I was one of them men who gave up his life, right, I'd want a name check. I don't want to be bungled in with everyone else who is saying a load of blokes gave their lives. Well done on that. See you later.
That's brilliant.
Did you just say bungled in?
Bungled in, yeah.
He made up a word!
I don't want to be bungled in.
You made up a word. See, that's it, you see. We've been looking for it. That's original. That's Karl Pilkington. I don't want to be bungled in.
The most sort of memorable bit of travelling I ever did was when I was on the Down. The Soundman particularly didn't really like any foreign food. And as soon as we got on the boat, they said, we'll do a curry, we'll include you in it, we should have some curry. And he said, no, we've got our food. And he gets this great clunky tin of Sainsbury's tuna out, and so opens it, and it slides out this kind of wobbly, gelatinous mass, boom. And you just know what you want to eat. You want the curry, whatever's in it.
Yeah, I suppose really so. You don't want to eat something that's
would you have eaten the Sainsbury's tuna?
Probably. Yeah, you can still travel and pick up quite a lot from seeing the world without having to eat
eating?
Without eating their food.
I don't see how you can do that. I think food is so important to get the feel of how people live, I mean,
but you can see
Japan and not have sushi or sashimi, or go to China and,
But I did go to Japan, and I saw... Have you seen the little, I think they're called bento boxes?
Oh, yeah.
And they're about that big, and they look brilliant.
Yeah.
I mean, the presentation is amazing. They're like a little box of sort of Thornton chocolates. The way they look, you're going, oh, that looks brilliant. Yeah. But instead of sort of a coffee cream, you open it, it's sort of fish arse with a squid bollock shoved in. Yeah. And you think that, as nice as that looks, it's still a squid bollock.
But do you feel, foods are very much a part of hospitality, isn't it? It's about the kind of, if you want to relate to the people you're meeting, you've got to sort of sometimes have the food they offer, because that's the first sign of hospitality, or the drink.
It depends how much fuss. Sometimes I can sort of say, oh, I'm okay, thanks. And then they'll go, no, have some. And you go, oh, I ate, I've already eaten, I'm fine, you have it. Give it to your family, don't worry about me. But then they keep pushing it.
Yeah, of course they do.
And, in Jordan, it was an eye off a lamb. And they were going, because your guests have an eye. Well, I don't want an eye.
No.
Thanks for having me, but I don't want it. And what was a worry was, it was a big pan with this lamb head in it. There was one eye. Where's the other eye? No. What condition was this lamb in?
Yeah. Mm.
And then you're getting a vision of some manky old lamb with one eye, sort of, and one weeping. And I just thought, I don't want to eat it.
You've got a very vivid imagination.
Honestly, it was horrible. And everyone's sat around,
waiting,
off the tits, they're all smoking. So, eat the eye. Yeah. And you're thinking, these aren't local, these are nutters.
But they're not nutters. They've been eating eyes for years, I should think.
What are they doing eating eyes? I don't know. You've had a lamb somewhere. Where's the rest of it? Why am I getting the head?
I find toilets abroad, I was a bit sort of embarrassed about doing a sequence where you go to the toilet, but people love that. They love it. I mean,
everyone does it.
I mean, the Alan Wicker programmes and all that, we never say Alan Wicker going to take a dump, because
that
wasn't part of it. We went to the toilet in the South Pole, and I sat there, and there was kind of blocks of ice had been dug around. You just sat there on the john, and you looked for 10,000 miles, you wouldn't be able to see anything at all, nobody at all.
But I found that a lot easier, because I had the same thing there, and at least somewhere like that, with it being freezing, you don't get people out walking a dog, do you? You sort of think, I'll just have a shit in this gap. There's no one going to come wandering past, whereas in India, everywhere's busy. Yeah. Even if you go down an alley, you think, I can go down here and empty my bowels, and there's a family of 12 living there or something. There's no gap, there's no space.
while we're on it, squat toilets I quite like. Do you like those?
Can't do it.
Oh.
Can't do it.
Oh dear.
It's like my stomach's going, I'm not coming out. It's, I'm not releasing anything. You're not sat on a seat. It's like a safety thing. I was trying it before I left on the trip before India. The first time I went, I knew that was going to be the case, and I tried it at home. I put out newspaper in the toilet. I didn't even tell my girlfriend. I just wanted to see if I can do it. Couldn't do it. Couldn't do it.
Well, that's probably because you're at home and you put newspaper on the floor. It's actually sort of whatever the word is. Physically, it's a very good position to be in.
But anyway, we were talking about sayings and that. Stitching time saves 9. Don't. I'm never going to use that. I don't think anyway. So, okay. Suzanne.
You're never going to understand it fully, are you?
Suzanne repairs me stuff anyway. It doesn't really matter. But what about the one? About the one in greenhouses and that.
People who live in glass houses shouldn't throw stones.
Yeah.
What?
Does that confuse you? You've never understood that one?
No, that's a lot clearer, isn't it? It's sort of saying, don't be chucking stuff about if you're surrounded by glass and what have you.
Yeah, but don't forget, it's an analogy, it's a metaphor, it's not to be taken literally. It's not really just talking to people who live in glass houses. It's saying... Hang
on, sorry, before you say that, Rick, I'm intrigued to know if he's fully got to grips with this. Okay. Just give us your explanation again of what you'd take that to mean.
Well, just don't be chucking stuff about, maybe.
So, well, if that was it, they just say that.
No, but that saying's been around a lot longer than we think. That's when people probably did live in basic glass houses and stuff.
No, whoa,
what they mean now.
Now who's ever lived in a glass house?
So cavemen went from rock to a nice crystal structure, did they? What are you talking about? When did people live in glass houses?
What they mean now, when that saying's used now, they mean sort of, plasma tellies, ornaments.
No, they don't.
They're saying don't chuck stuff about because
you'll
break it.
No, it's not about damaging your own property.
They don't mean you're inside the glass house throwing rocks inside your own glass house.
It's a metaphor. It means don't be having a go at people if you yourself have got more to lose. Do you know what I mean? It means it could be anything. Don't start a war where you could come off bad as well. It's about how fragile your situation is. If you live in a glass house, metaphorically, don't throw stones at someone else, because when he throws it back at you, your house is more easily damaged than his. Again, metaphorically.
It doesn't mean that if you're living in a glass house or in a house with other precious objects, you don't, in your own home, throw bricks about. Because that would be a very specific audience that I was trying to reach, that phrase. I mean, let's be honest, what kind of a mental case?
Do you know what? I think we've got the crux to this, right? I think I can answer. Right. Carl, what is an analogy?
It's sort of like a little story told quickly. Isn't it?
It's a little story told quickly. To what end?
Well, it depends what the story is.
Okay.
Give me an analogy.
Well, for me, I thought of one with the greenhouse. Yeah. Right?
It's a greenhouse. Before it was just a glass house.
Yeah.
All right, then a glass house.
Okay. Right. What I mean is that glass house is metaphorical. It's about the fragility of your situation as compared to your aggression or your...
You see, I just prefer sort of, what you say is what you mean. So people who live in a glass house have to answer the door.
I don't know what that means. I don't know what that means. I mean, because you may be a genius, because I don't get that. People who live in glass houses have to answer the door.
Okay, let's hear his explanation.
Because the people knocking at the door will be able to see you, because it's a glass house.
But what...
But you literally mean it, don't you? There's no analogy there or metaphor for you. You literally mean, if you live in a glass house and someone knocks the door... So there's no hidden meaning there, is there?
Well, normally...
Couldn't that also... you have to add a number of other things, other caveats. Surely, if you live in a glass house, don't walk around naked.
Yeah.
If you live in a...
These are literal. See, if you... Now, you could actually make that into quite a nice... saying there, because if that meant, if someone said that to me and they weren't a shaved chimp, right? If they said people who live in glass houses have to answer the door, I think that means, it means that there are no secrets. You can't hide behind anything. If you're very open, if you've chosen to be totally open all the time, you can't go back on it.
So people, if you wear everything on your sleeve, if you shout around and you tell the truth, and you can't go back on it. They can see through you.
It can mean that as well, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Oh, that's handy. But just the idea that in your head there should be sayings for people who live in glass houses. Who is it that's living in a glass house?
Well, I'm not talking about them. It's just that if everyone else is bringing up about these people who are living in glass houses, let's get to the real problems they've got.
He still hasn't got to grips with the idea of the metaphor or the simile.
People who live in glass houses should live near a glazier.
Right. Well, here's another saying, right, that I learnt recently from a mate, right? Oh, there's an elephant in the room.
Okay, I haven't heard that one, but explain it to me.
It's like when something's going on in a room, right, but no one's mentioning it because everyone's a bit too sort of. But in a way, it's better that it's out. It's like how whenever we go out for something to eat or a drink or something, it's normally after about 5 minutes the sort of topic gets onto the shape of my head.
Yeah. Well,
right?
I can't resist the shape of your head.
Right, so you're happy talking about it.
It's not just the shape, though, is it? It's the state of it as well.
But what
outside and in. I mean, it's a fascinating little objet d'art, his head.
But what
it's perfectly round. It's got no hair where it should have. And it's hollow.
The features are slightly too small for the face.
Yeah, unbelievable.
No, but what I'm saying is, it's interesting how, like, I'm the elephant in the room, right? Nobody's talking about it. You mention it once, suddenly it's the talk of the town. Is what I mean. Everybody starts joining in, going, well, yeah, it is round, but it does suit you. And these are people who I don't even know sometimes, and they're all dipping in. And that is an elephant in the room.
So you don't want people to discuss the shape of your head or the lack of hair? You would feel better. You would feel happier that they didn't mention that.
Sometimes I think it's better that it's out there. It's made me a stronger person, though. It's the same way, we were talking about religion and that. Samson Delilah, he got weaker without hair. Whereas with me, I think it's made me stronger because it's almost like it's treated like a disability. Everybody's sort of mentioning it and talking about it. What's it like having a bald head? And you know what I mean. So it's made me stronger.
But would you ever wear a wig?
Not really.
What was a long wig like Samson?
Well, the only time I wanted a wig was when I did jury duty once, right? And it was annoying that I was sat on the jury right in front of, like, these criminals, right? Everybody else has got disguises. The judges have them wigs on, right?
That's not disguises!
It is a disguise. That's a disguise. That's why judges wear them, right? So
no! Well, then why did they print their name in the paper and have a picture? What do you mean it's a disguise?
Well, it's a disguise, isn't it?
No! If it was a disguise, they'd go in with one of those glasses with a nose and the beard attached if it was a disguise. All judges would look like Groucho Marx if it was a disguise.
Well, I'm just saying that's what annoyed me when I was sat there on the front row, right? I couldn't have been any closer to the criminals, right? I was sat there and I thought, why didn't I just pop a little wig on or a pair of glasses?
I would have loved to have seen you in the front row at Crown Court.
No, because
I'd love to see it because in this country you're not allowed to show pictures of jurors. You can't take photos in a courtroom, so there's always these sketch artists that draw drawings, and it's on the news. The idea that we'd have seen 11 people and a sort of Krusty the Clown figure would have been amazing.
Yeah, I would love to see the artist do an interview because it would be like complicated people. Oh, hey, he looks characterful, and then just a little round head.
Charlie Brown.
Charlie Brown sitting on the end.
So would you rather be reborn in the past or born again in the future?
Oh, it's so hard because the future seems scary, doesn't it?
It does.
I feel out of place now. You know what I mean? Nearly 50. I can't keep up with it. So the future will just be like mind-blowing, won't it? I think all the fun out of life will be gone and we'll just be sort of brains in jars.
Or the plot twist might be that everyone gets so bored of the technology that we actually
go backwards.
Revert backwards.
Yeah.
Bit of a gamble, that. You've just made that up. Might not be the case.
No, I have. You could go into the future and it is crazy. There's no guarantees.
Skyscrapers everywhere.
I was always moaning about graveyards, sort of like, look at the amount of space taken up, but they might be the only bits left for a walk, because you can't build on them. People go, you can't, it's sacred and all that. But so they might be where families go for picnics. You might be picnicking on top of dead bodies, because that's the only bit of green land left. So,
I thought you would have said the past.
I know, but there's a little bit of me that's like the future. You wanna look round the corner a bit, don't you? There's a bit that's like, how is all this going to end?
With the past, at least you're stepping into more of the known, whereas the future's the unknown.
And I'm definitely deciding the year. So it's not like I don't just go past and then I end up in a time when there's no Nurofen, I've got a banging headache. Because it's things like that, innit? That's things that we take for granted.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm answering this without being honest.
I also feel like you're answering as though we're about to put you in a time portal machine and put you there.
I know, because isn't that's it, isn't it? It's a question, so you've got to think it through. And like, I don't want to walk out of here and go, "Oh, what have I done?" No, sod it. I'm gonna go future.
Ooh, adventurous.
Go for it.
Talk about unexpected turns.
Yeah. We kind of know what's been, and I suppose it can't be that bad. I said the future was going to be bad, but there's good and bad at every time, isn't there? Every time you go back, you haven't told me what life I'm being born into. I could be like some king. You don't know. So I'm going to go. It's more exciting. The unknown. Go on. What year? 2050?
Oh, we haven't.
Go beyond that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. Do you want the one about my kidneys?
Yeah.
For God's sake, me belly ache. The doctor said it's me kidney. He said he's got to stick a tube up my knob. I said, you got to be kidding me. For God's sake, knob ache.
Oh God! I'm sort of mildly disappointed, but they're quite good.
Yeah.
No poet's ever written about jellyfish and kidneys. It's great. Oh God, I think you might have the market sewn up there. It would be spiteful to put a jellyfish in a trifle.
Talked about this before, haven't we? About the cloning thing.
Yeah.
That's a bit weird.
Yeah.
But I don't think it matters, because at the end of the day, right, you might look like some other kid, but it's the way you've brought up that will change your features and the way you are, your personality.
If you lie, you get a long nose, don't you?
Well, no, but listen, right, because I remember when we, I was growing up on this estate.
This is going to be good. Go on.
No, it's not. It's just an example of how this doesn't work.
Go on.
So we don't need to worry, sort of thing.
Sure.
Right?
Okay.
So I'm growing up on this estate, and there was this woman about 4 houses down, right, who's a bit rough. All right.
Didn't fancy her.
Oh God, no. Right, but she had a baby.
Well, tell me about her first. I'm interested in this woman. Why was she?
It was a very.
Was it like being a man in a dress?
I mean, I didn't grow up in a posh house or anything, and I'm not saying that if you live in a bit of a rough house, you're a bad person.
What did she look like?
But anyone can clean up.
Looked like Tony Green with a fag on.
They didn't clean up much, right?
Oh.
Which, even if you've not got a lot of money, you can still try and make a place look nice.
Yeah.
Right? But she didn't, and a kid used to take a horse into the house.
Sorry. Whoa, Neddy. What do you mean a kid used to take a horse into the house? Where did he get a horse?
Must have nicked it from somewhere. Must have done.
You've seen a horse in it? No.
What, is that from outside the saloon round the corner?
Yeah, was it just tied up with a bit of
Right?
Oh, that's great. Did Big Jake come looking for it?
I'd been out.
Oh. Sorry, let me get this. This was before the lynching stopped or after.
Where did he get a horse from? What do you mean he must have nicked it? His mum said, where'd you get that from? I bought it. Alright then. But keep it out of the kitchen.
I don't want you going cattling rustling.
Where did he get a horse from, Carl? And how long did he have it for? Was he leading it or riding it? Mum, open the door, I can't stop!
I can't stop it. Open the patio door as well,
Looks like we got us a runaway. What do you mean?
I don't know, but the thing is, they couldn't afford to buy one because they're not cheap. So I'm just guessing. Maybe that's wrong of me. But I think...
He had a horse?
Yeah, right. So
that's why the family didn't have any money, they'd spend it on the horse.
No, I don't think, that's what I'm saying, I don't think they would have bought it. So anyway...
Yeah, it's wise to whisper, Carl, in case they're listening.
Yeah, and
they could be in the room next door.
It's not buying it, it's keeping it as well.
Oh, so I was like in the car with my dad coming into the avenue, and you used to have to drive down it to turn round and and sort of go back to our house.
You had the traditional method of transport.
And the horse was in the lounge
reading a paper,
just like walking around.
Oh God!
What? And when I was doing, I tried to earn myself some money once by flogging little flowers in plastic cups.
What?
This is genius. It just keeps coming. What do you mean you're trying to flog little flowers? What do you mean?
Wait. Let's play a record. Let's play a record and come back to this, because the story's going to just unravel and unravel. It's going to go on for hours. Let's play a track,
deeper and deeper. It's like an onion, isn't it?
We've created a whole world here where there's a man living with a horse.
Just walking around the lounge.
I mean, I come from the West Country, I've never heard anything like that.
I just think of a big sort of like orange carpet and a rediffusion telly and this horse going, I'm fed up in here.
Exactly.
This is really...
I am not taking the rubbish out again.
Yeah. So, we were talking, we were doing White Van Man, and, we got onto
genetically modified babies, but
and
somehow
then Carl started telling a story about someone with a horse, and then he got onto, he was trying to make money selling flowers. Just do the flowers briefly.
Well, hang on, I just want to recap slightly. So there was a family, and who had the horse in the family?
It was...
Because you lived on an estate in Manchester.
So the mother was a right pig, apparently.
Well,
I don't know whether that's relevant.
You don't need to go that far.
But
what I'm trying to do is, like, make a picture for you so you understand.
What a picture it is. Who did she look like?
Bit of a, and no disrespect to her, bit like Pauline Quirk.
Quirky, yeah.
Right?
Okay, I knew you were going to say that. Yeah. I knew it was going to be Pauline. Did she have any tats? Did she have any tattoos?
I've never got that close to her.
Okay, alright.
So who had the horse? Was this her son or her husband?
No, her daughter.
Her daughter had stolen a horse?
Yeah, from, I don't know where, there was I think there was some stables down the road or something.
And they kept the horse in the house with them?
They kept it in the house.
Did they
didn't have it for long.
No.
So, and you said you were in the house one day and you saw the horse in there?
No, what happened was, I was, they did this thing at school about raising money for charity, right? For some local charity. And they said you can do anything to raise money, and they came out with all these ideas, and I thought, that's good.
What was the charity?
Well, I don't know, I thought, forget the charity.
Yeah, that's just a good money making idea.
So,
you're a charity.
So, so I asked my mum for some, cause she used to have a lot of flowers around the house.
Sure.
I said, can I just take some snippings off them? And, I'll go and buy some plastic cups. And, got some soil out of the garden, planted the bits of plants in them.
Yeah.
Got a tray.
Yeah.
Had about 25 plants on it, selling them for 25 pence each.
Excellent. Did you sell any?
Yeah, so loads.
So did you just cut, you didn't just cut them and stick them in the soil?
Yeah, they want to survive.
Oh.
But I think people sort of thought, well, good on him for trying. But anyway, so I went round to theirs, because I thought their house could do with a bit of colour and stuff.
Yeah.
So it's a bit rough. So as I went...
The horse went, thank God for that breakfast. They've been feeding me kitty cat.
So I got up to the door, and they opened the door, and it was one of them houses where no carpet.
Yeah, a horse in the living room.
You know.
We've all been there.
And the horse was walking around the living room.
Oh.
I looked quite happy and everything, because I always say that about animals.
Black Beauty was on. Yeah.
Well, think about it, right? If you were a horse, where would you rather be? In a little wooden hut with a load of hay? Or in, like, a house with a...
central heating?
3-piece suite, and a telly and that?
Telly and that!
No, but I was saying this the other day.
And an Atari.
Right? I was walking through London.
Commodore 64, rubbish.
Exactly.
Walking through London with Suzanne, right?
Yeah.
And you know, like homeless people always have dogs. And she said, oh, I hope she looks after it. I said, that dog is happier than most dogs.
Right.
Because people always walk past and give it a pat on the head.
Yeah.
It's with its owner all the time.
Yeah.
It's out in the open, it's not locked up in a house.
Yeah.
It doesn't eat, but other than that.
No, it does eat though, they're always alright. So that's what I was saying, I think this horse was doing alright for itself. Do you know?
Well, not many horses have got their own house.
Exactly.
For a start, yeah.
But anyway, that's
by the by.
Yeah, so anyway, this family, who's a bit, what we were talking about, it was about cloning.
Genetically modified kids and all that stuff, yeah.
Right, now what I'm saying is, you could say, you know, right, Steve, you could have a baby, right? And Ricky could see it and say, God, I want one that looks like that.
Yeah.
Right?
It could happen, Rick.
So...
Come on, work with him.
So you take it to the doctors, and I don't know what they do, they inject it with something or whatever.
Yep, that's how it's done.
Yeah.
And, get a little baby, and there it is, it looks the same. Now the thing is, you separate, you both go off and do your own things.
Yep.
Right? Now, you look at Stephen, you look after your baby.
Yeah.
You treat it well, you give it good food and
I'm a good dad.
all the vitamins and stuff.
Yeah.
Ricky just gives it cheese. Right? So, then it changes its looks, it goes a bit fat. You know, it gets tired easily, and that sort of thing. Now, when this family...
Why am I just feeding a baby cheese?
Right, this family had a horse in their house.
Yeah.
They had a little baby. And my mum went round and said, you're not going to believe this, but it's a beautiful looking baby. Right?
Yeah.
And I was like, well, you know. And, the weird thing is, it was a good looking kid. But as time went on, they didn't really look after it. And I'm not saying, like, abusing it, but it used to run around, it used to play out till, like, 10 at night.
Yeah.
It used to chase cars.
Right.
It was a bit...
Did it have hooves?
Yeah, no. Chase cars!
Right.
What sort of kid chases cars? Oh, God. Was it called Rover? Did it catch sticks?
It's Liam, it was called, right?
Right.
Now, the weird thing is, it was a good-looking kid, but as time went on, and all that, like, not eating properly and its hair was all patchy...
It's not Liam Gallagher, is it?
And chasing cars on that, and it became an ugly kid.
It's definitely Liam Gallagher.
And that's what I'm saying, right? You can clone all you like, but at the end of the day, it's how you brought up.
Brilliant. Wow. Whoa. Wow. That was a hell of a point. Oh, God.
But am I right?
Oh, you're always right, Carl.
Yeah, I'm not very good at, I'm not the life, and I mean, I don't go to parties because I don't like the feeling of too many people. I got a little bit better when they sent me on my travels, because I had to go to a couple of sort of festivals and things like that where there's a lot of people, or a carnival in Rio, or some sort of religious thing in India. But I remember getting really stressed out because I'm not good in large crowds. If I do go to an event, I've got to be on the edges.
So that there's a metaphorical and literal escape route.
Yeah, I think it is. I just don't like all the... And it annoys me because I know, like, you're meant to enjoy some of these points in your life and in the year, like New Year, where it's all about, you got to get together, you got to be with people and celebrate stuff together. And I sort of go, I'd rather not, thanks. And that can come across really like, oh, you miserable bastard. But it's like, no,
we are all
I'm not.
different,
I tell you what, I could come along, I could come to that party, that's going to be so fucking amazing, but I'm going to hate it, and I'm going to ruin it for everyone else, because they'll be going, what's up with him? Who's that moody sod in the corner there who's just like keeping himself to himself? I don't like it.
Yeah.
So I kind of wish I could. There's times when I see people who are like, I was watching Antiques Road Trip last night, and there was a woman on it just laughing all the time. Laughing at stuff that wasn't funny, but just laughing all the time. So a laugh became a bit redundant, because it's like you're just laughing at everything.
Yeah.
But Suzanne was like, no, she's happy, isn't she? I'm going, I don't know. Well, and she's going, oh, no, you're not. You're a bit miserable. I'm going, no, will you stop? It's just, I'm not like that. Is it serotonin? Or
serotonin.
Yeah. We've all got different levels of that, haven't we?
So she's just pumping it out.
They've obviously got a lot of it. And if it's genuine, if that's how much that person is laughing all the time, it's like, that must be amazing. But there's no point me coming in here going, James, because he's not real.
Yeah.
And it's tiring. I'd be so exhausted. I've got a day of this. I've got a day of interviews. So, like you said, there's no point bullshitting. There's no point me coming in, pretending I'm something I'm not. And if I walk out of here and you go, Jesus Christ, that was hard work, he's a moody man. That's the way it is. And a lot of the time I don't go to events and parties because I know I'm a bit like that, and I don't want to ruin it for other people. So rather than going because I've been asked and I end up ruining it, I prefer to go, thanks and everything, but it's not really my thing. And I'm pretty sure once I'm not there, they enjoy the party. I'm not on the mind. Everyone's not at that party going, shame Carl didn't turn up. They don't give a shit that I'm there or not. So I kind of just take myself out of it. And again, it's a bit annoying for Suzanne at times, because she's like, well, if you're not going, I'm not going. I said, well, I'm not making that rule.
Quite like to...
I'm not making that rule, though. You can go. But I don't want to go because I know that I'll end up annoying you anyway. So we might as well have this argument now about me not going, rather than having it later about going but being a moody shit in the corner.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I wish... These times I wish I was a bit different, but I'm 47 now. And I don't think it's going to change.
Journey of 1,000 miles begins with one step.
Yeah, did that.
Just favourites.
Maybe this is why people are at the start line spectating at the Commonwealth Games.
Well, no, it's just that I've never understood why in Olympics and stuff like that, if you're going to watch, don't stand around the start line. Go to the end, where you see the winner. But because of that saying, it actually makes sense, doesn't it? It's like, well, every step starts with a step or whatever.
Say again?
Every race, you've got to start with a step.
Yeah.
So,
which is who am I talking to now? You or your brain?
Well, I was thinking about it a bit, so I think I was in control of it a bit more.
So, and what have you come up with?
Just
if you want to stay at the start line, do.
What does that mean?
I'm just saying, if you're into, I wouldn't watch a race, right?
Okay. But is this you or your brain I'm talking to now?
This is me.
Okay.
I wouldn't watch.
Are you gonna bring the brain into it, or is it? There's no.
I don't know. Let's just see what happens.
Okay.
But all I'm saying is,
right.
If I was to watch a race,
yeah,
I wouldn't hang about the start line because.
Well, you just said you would.
What did I?
Yeah, you said that's the place to start because every race starts with a step.
No, but I wouldn't normally.
Right.
I won't watch any race.
The brain definitely hasn't been used yet.
No, is this you or your brain you're talking about now?
I'm just saying about me. If I was on holiday,
yeah,
and Suzanne said there's a race going on down the road,
yeah,
I'd go, well, let's go, keep going down the road and stand at the finish line.
Okay, but now what have you
thought? According to Lazoo,
yeah,
I'd say, well, hang on a minute, every race starts with a single step.
Yeah.
How many people around the start line? Is there more room there? She goes, yeah. I'll go, let's go there then, it's less busy.
Right, and what would you see there then?
I'd see people starting the race, but I wouldn't be that impressed with them because I'd go, well, I don't know if any of these are any good.
So would you start at the start or the end then?
If it was down to me, I'd just probably stay at the finish line.
Okay, so you wouldn't want to see the first step then? So what do you think of Lazoo now then?
It's not what, but I wrote down 3 of his. That one isn't my favourite. That was the 3rd. I preferred the leading people from behind.
Okay, and what would you do to lead someone now then?
Well, if you're behind, you don't have to take responsibility, do you? You can go, well, I didn't send you here, you went there.
That's not really leading them, though, is it?
Yeah, because I've made them think. I've gone, they go, oh, I've just walked into a big hole. I'd go, oh, should have been looking where you're going. I haven't led them in that hole, but they've learnt a lesson, they won't go in a hole again.
That was one of the greatest conversations I've ever been a part of. I mean, that was incredible. Never mind Aristotle and Socrates. That was incredible, that. If someone's out there, could they make a transcript of that? Because I think that, you know, in 1,000 years' time, that'd be amazing. That was incredible, Karl.
And not once was the brain used.
Your first memory, if you'd be willing to share that with us.
God. You just see if I can go further back.
For the purposes of this podcast, Karl's really thinking.
I am. You've got to shut your eyes, haven't you?
Mm-hmm.
Why is that? So, yeah, I can't get past it. I can't go further back than this. It's just being in the hallway of the house, crawling. So I don't know what age you start walking about, but I was aware, crawling, and the dog was licking my face.
Wow.
And I think I was just about to mess with the plug on the wall. So that could have ended differently, but the dog kept me away, licked my face, and I don't really like it now either.
The memory or the...
Of dogs licking faces. You know, some people... I mean, I love dogs, I love pets and all that, but some people, they let them... have you got a dog?
No, but the kissing thing is weird.
Yeah, all over it. I'm kind of like, what are you doing that for? So I don't know if that's this thing of it being a bit overpowering when I was a kid.
Yeah.
But he stinks, doesn't it? Dog saliva. I mean, they're eating dog food and that. It's rank.
Yeah.
But that, I'd say I can't... Let me just think if I can go... And it's not that special, that, is it? That's not like an amazing moment.
No, because I was going to ask you about your hallway and what it looked like, and
it was...
You can remember all of that as well.
It was just... nothing fancy. A little box. I grew up in a council house in Manchester, so all the houses looked the same. And it's just like this box that's stuck on. You've got 2 of them, like a porch on one side of the house, and we had our washing machines in there and a toilet. And then on the other side of the house where I was, where the dog was licking my face, in that little box was we had one of them. I don't know. You don't see them really. Freezer.
Like a chest freezer.
Chest freezer.
Like the one out the
It was
snowman.
them. Like the ones you get in like Iceland and that.
Exactly.
And it was lovely to lie on top of because it was warm.
Of course.
Like a hot tub.
Yeah, nice.
A 1970s sort of sunbed in a way. It was, honestly. It was really nice. And because we didn't have central heating or anything, it was this... foam was on there. Everyone sort of lay on it, really. There's a lot of clobber on the top of it, considering that it's something that you have to open a lot to get out.
Take everything off.
Mr. Freeze Pops and that. There's a memory that's come back that I've talked about before. Nearly died on a freeze pop.
All right.
Went down the wrong way and it wasn't frozen. And proper, I'm lucky to be sat here today talking to you type incident where I fell to the ground.
Oh, God.
Probably, I'd say 32 seconds max of what life I had left, choking on this thing.
Who saved you?
My mum. My dad was shouting at me for being greedy, because he was like, you shouldn't be eating it when it's not frozen. It's a Mr. Freeze pop, you know, the clue's in the title. And I didn't wait for it to freeze. It was just liquid. Again, that bright liquid, sort of 70s, you know, Chernobyl-style stuff in a plastic tube. And, I was just went down the wrong way. I choked a lot as a kid. I was always like, I don't know if it's greed or if I just had a small throat. I don't know, but I just got a lot caught in it. Mint Imperials and bottle tops were the things that always seemed to be stuck in my throat. And, you know, my mum she just got used to listening out for me sort of coughing like a cat with a hairball. And, I just got lost. I think, it seemed a lot longer, but I reckon well over a minute. And my dad came in shouting at me for being greedy. My mum was doing the old Heimlich thing, and she managed to get my hair back, and I was like, look, I nearly died then. And my dad was going, you didn't. I'm going, my lips are blue. And he was going, that's from the ice pop. And I swear, I still think about it now and again when I have a bad day and I think, I'm sick of this. I'm sick of being on this planet. I think back to then and go, God, I might not have been.
Yeah, right.
So I shouldn't, careful what you wish for.
Yeah, it's interesting.
But there's, I'll never forget that.
Yeah, fascinating. You sound like you were quite a bright and very aware child. Like, those memories are quite early on. What advice would you give your younger self now? Sitting here today, what advice, if you were looking back, would you give younger Karl?
So what... God, that's a tricky one, isn't it? It's interesting, because as me, I don't think I'd give him any advice. And I think even as a kid, I wouldn't want it.
It's okay.
Because at the same time, life, I don't like giving advice to anyone, because what's to say it's going to be the same for them as it was for you, and, you know...
Would you say it's a pet hate of yours, then?
Advice?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's weird, because I like listening to people. I like listening to people more than talking, to be honest. I'm not that good at making mates, and a bit of it is because you have to get involved a lot, and sometimes they want advice. That's what they say a friend is, isn't it? And I remember one day when I was walking around thinking, should I have more mates? And I was walking, in fact, I was in New York, and I was walking past people, because Americans are louder, aren't they? So you can hear what they're saying. And every time I walked past people talking, it involved someone giving someone advice.
Right.
It was always, if I was you, what I'd do, you know, and don't worry about her, you know, she does this, what you want to do. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's interesting. And then I was like, is that all people talk about? It's just everyone telling each other what to do.
Yeah.
And who's got the right answer? And life is just working it out, innit?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if you were born, you come out and someone gives you a handbook and says, there you go, that's what to do. How boring would that be?
It'd be terrible.
It'd be shocking.
Depending on who wrote it as well.
Yeah, who's right? So, and then the people who you look up to, you know, I'm quite jealous of really intelligent people who can string sentences together perfectly and, you know, seem to have life sussed. But a lot of those people, the more and more you listen to them, you realise that they're not right in the head. There's a lot of trouble going on. No one's normal. That's the weird thing. There's a lot of people who go, I like them. They seem really grounded, normal. Everyone's normal until you get to know them. And then when you get to know them, you realise everyone is mental.
The cracks start to show.
I'm telling you. So I think just forget, I wouldn't even, do you know what? I wouldn't even want to tell younger Karl that I'm the older one. I'd keep walking.
Right, okay.
That's leave him. Has anyone else said that? Is that really bad? Does that say something bad about me?
No, but it's a really fascinating answer that you've given, because you have you strike me as such a comfortable person within your own skin. My next question is, when did you completely feel like you?
What does that mean? I'm not comfortable as myself.
You know?
I don't think I ever have been, either. There's different levels. I think my confidence has got a little bit better, maybe. But then there's times when I wish it hadn't, because when you get confident, sometimes that's when you make mistakes. Oh, God. That's the goal, isn't it? Isn't that what, like, Buddha people say about being comfortable with yourself, being at one with yourself?
Contentment.
Yeah.
I suppose contentment is at one with yourself, isn't it?
I just don't think I ever am. It's like I'm never happy. I'm never at ease with anything. All the work I've done, it never seems good enough. And I go, I shouldn't even be given the opportunity to do the work that I've done. And I want to be better. But it's really bad, isn't it? And then what I have to do is gardening. I find sort of puts me at ease a little bit, because I'm just focusing on a really simple task. That's when I'm at ease. Yeah. But it won't be forever.
Yeah.
And then it gets to a point when I get sick of work and I go, I'm not doing any more work. I've said it so many times, it's like, it's not for me. I've got to find something else. And then I try and be creative in another way. Create something else. And at the minute, I've just ordered a origami kit.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Paper crafting.
Paper crafting is something you can just make something, you focus on it. It doesn't involve a lot of equipment. Like people say, oh, get into music. And it's like, yeah, but you've got to buy this thing and then you might not like it. And then it's there in the corner collecting dust. Yeah. I'll need paper. Do you know what I mean? Origami isn't something, there's not much investment. It's little bits of tissue. You make something, you go, I did that, and you either put it on a shelf or you scrumple it up, put it in the bin, or you unfold it and put your shopping list on it.
Yeah.
It's not going to be a waste of time. It's going to be fine. So I'm always into little things like that, because I'm never at ease. I look at me dad or other people and sort of go, no one's content. I'm trying to think of someone who would you say you look at and you go, they're really content and they're happy with their own skin? And
I've got a few pals probably, but they're all...
Someone famous though, someone who you go, they've got it sorted.
I'd like to think Joanna Lumley did. She looks quite content to me. Floating around, being fabulous, yeah. She's pretty cool, isn't she?
Yeah, I don't know. I've never met her. And
she cries
a lot. Cries a lot, though,
doesn't
she? Yeah, she was on one of her travel programmes and she saw some goat on a roof in some, I don't know, Kazakhstan or one of those sort of, I don't know, wherever.
It's too much.
And there was a goat on the roof and she was just like, that's beautiful. And she started crying and I thought, she's not stable. You shouldn't be crying at a goat. She's probably a lovely woman, I shouldn't judge. And maybe you shouldn't have told me, Joanna Lumley, it's your fault. But the thing is, I think we're all messed up. And a bit of me is jealous of Joanna Lumley crying at a goat, because I haven't got... My girlfriend's always crying at films and stuff. She cries. She was crying today, like, listening to the radio on the way here. And a bit of me thinks, I wish I could be that emotional, but I'm always a little bit suspicious of everything. And then I'm trying to look at myself. So there's your question. You just said about, I'm clearly still trying to work myself out.
Okay.
I'm always doing the self-reflection thing. And when I do something, and if it annoys someone or makes someone happy, it can be good or bad, I try and look at what I just did and why it had that effect and if I was right or wrong. Okay. So I'm still learning.
Okay.
I don't think you ever get the answer either. I think just the last breath that you take, I think you lie there and go, what was all that about?
Oh, boom. Maybe.
Yeah. I'm always getting stopped for I mean, there's so many charities now. Anything. I think that's the other problem, actually, that there's so many now. Years ago, a problem wouldn't have been a problem, whereas today, it's someone's got this problem, someone's got OCD and we're collecting for that.
Right.
It's not just starving people anymore, it's everything.
Yeah.
One little fault, they're out there with a clipboard.
Yeah, a lot of new diseases have cropped up, particularly for these sort of rich and famous diseases that really third world people do not suffer from.
So I was in W.H. Smith's probably buying a Valentine's card.
Oh, okay.
So there you go, you see. So I do a bit. And
Is this the cheapest one you've got, love?
And I bought a big bar of like Galaxy.
Oh, cheaper than a box of chocolates, but yeah, still nice.
For me, that, because they had an offer on, right?
Oh,
this is what I'm saying.
Okay, she's getting a card, isn't she?
This is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I felt awkward because she could see that, oh, he must have some money.
What, a big bar of
Because
Galaxy
you could afford some chocolate.
Well, it was like an impulse buy thing.
Yeah.
Right.
So she's thinking, he's got money to burn.
Yeah.
So at first I didn't know who she was.
There's a guy over here buying a big bar of Galaxy and a small card. Yeah, follow him.
So she's there. I'm thinking she just works in WH Smith's.
Yeah.
Morning, sir. All right, how's it going? Oh, have you got a minute? So I'm thinking, oh, is it WH Smith saying, you know, how often do you buy the Galaxy? Because they always do sort of surveys and stuff. So she said, oh, you like chocolate? I went, yeah. She said, yeah, I'll have a chocolate. Right? Oh. Little chocolate.
Yeah.
I ate it.
Yeah,
then she goes, right, are you aware of the problems in the world? So I'm thinking, oh, what's this? You see, they've been clever there.
Yes.
I can't say no and walk off without a bit of chocolate.
Sure.
Right.
So,
why don't you freeze? Just freeze.
We're closing up now. We're closing the shop.
So I said, oh, yeah, there's loads of problems. I'm sick of it. So she says...
no, not yours, sir. There are some people who are starving.
Yeah, and I explained to her, I said, listen, I've got loads of these charities. Every month. I said, my bank account is literally... Because I don't use my current bank account that much. So you look at it with a statement, it's like, Tools for Africa.
Right.
Help the Aged. Deaf Kids. There's another one.
.com, deafkids.com.
There's loads.
Is Tools for Africa when they send people like Karl over to help out?
Yeah, that is Comic Relief. Tools for Africa is another name for Comic Relief if you watch it.
So anyway, I said, I do all this. She's going, oh, that's very good of you, but, you know, we need your money as well. So she's saying, just as much as you can afford, you know, every little helps and everything. I've been here all day. Look, as you can see, I haven't had much luck. It's not that busy in the shop, blah, blah. Oh, all right then, right? So I give her the details. She looks at the amount. She goes, right, now the options are, you can tick the £5 box, the £10 box, the £20 box, the £50 box. This is a monthly payment.
Right.
She said, well, I'll put you down for a tenner. Forget the £5. She just leapfrogged that straight away. And you can't go back, can you? Because then you feel bad.
Sure.
To sort of go, well, you've got a £5 one there, tick that one.
Yeah.
She can see I've got the chocolate, sort of wasting my money on things that aren't necessary when there's people dying around the world.
Yeah.
I said, right, yeah, tenner, fine. And, you know, I filled it all out, I left the shop.
Yeah.
Spent more on that than I did on the card and the chocolate.
Right, so you spent under £10 then, basically.
So I get home and everything, forget about it. I keep seeing these statements going out. It looks like Gandhi's bank account, the amount of stuff I'm giving away for charities.
Sure.
I forget about it though, forget it. I'm doing my bit for charity. I should feel good about it.
Yeah.
Anyway, something kicks off in the world.
Right.
Ring, 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 ring. Oh. Hello? Is that Mr. Pilkington? Straight away I'm thinking, oh, who's this? This isn't good.
Yeah.
Oh, hello, it's so-and-so charity.
Right.
Are you aware of the problems in the world? I said, yes, I am. There's lots of them. Yeah, but have you heard about the latest one? I said, yeah. She went, well, I'm just calling up to say thanks for the donation that you give us every month, but it's not enough. So I said, yeah, well, I think I give enough. I said, you're not the only ones here. I said, I've got 5 charities on the go here.
Yeah.
I said, and, you know, I've given you what I can afford. Yeah. She's going, yeah, but let me just tell you about the problems. There's so many people missing here. This is bad. These are dying. Da, da, da. I'm going, I know. I was told all this when I signed up, and I agreed to that amount.
Yeah.
The £10 that I said I'm happy to give you, that's what I can afford. Call some other people up who aren't giving you a tenner.
Yeah.
She goes, no, but we haven't got their numbers, you know, and we understand that you're a supporter of our charity, and, you know, just a little bit more will help. I said, listen, I can't. I've given you that amount. If you want, if it's not enough, let's stop the direct debit now.
Right.
I said, if it's not helping you, let's can it, and I'll give it to deafkids.com. I said, because they're not calling up mithering.
No.
Well, they can.
That's a good thing with them. So she said, no, I don't want to do that. I said, well, that's it then. And she wouldn't let it go. And in the end, she got an extra £1.50 off me.
Right.
But that shouldn't be allowed. I think they should have, like, 1 year where they go, this year, you know, hungry people.
Right.
Next year, people with a limp. Or just like they do with the China thing, with the year of the cat, year of the rabbit. It's very clear.
Yeah.
It's that year. That's who we're helping this year.
Right.
If you've got that problem, it's your year. You're going to have a good one.
And who decides?
Just have some meeting. Just have a meeting.
But who gets together in the meeting?
What would be the first year? What would be the first year? This year?
Right, well, we'd look at it and we'd go, right, what are we hearing a lot of problems about? And someone goes, so-and-so's hungry. Go, right, are we all in? Are we in to give this lot food? And we're not just going to give them food.
So it's not everyone who's hungry, it's specific people. So it's like hungry...
Starving, people who are starving. If someone goes, I've got, I don't know, what's another problem?
Adenoids.
Me kid's deaf. Well, maybe next year. Maybe next year. It's not your turn this time. We can't help everyone at once. Because that's life, isn't it? You've got to give and take in your own life. There's things that I want, I can't have, I'll do without, have something else.
But
that's
there's
more
so many
important.
causes that
but that's
it could
what I'm
wait
saying,
20
Steve.
years before your charity
I know,
comes
but
round.
what can you do then? Because we're not sorting it all out anyway.
I'm paraplegic.
Right?
Oh, I need help really bad. I'm paraplegic.
But so does everyone else.
Well, why are you giving us the hungry now?
Because if we don't help the hungry now, they can't wait. You can wait.
Right. Oh God, I'm blind.
Is this a different person now?
Yeah, I'm blind.
Right, well you're not hungry though, are you?
Well, a bit peckish.
Yeah, well...
Where's the fridge? I can't find the fridge. Can you help me to the fridge?
Yeah.
Otherwise I'll be hungry as well. I'm blind and hungry. I'm blind and hungry because I don't know where the fridge is.
Who's let you in?
But Carl, this is just a chaotic idea. It's a chaotic because people who are hungry, there's always going to be people who are hungry.
Yeah, but then
you're not going to just because there's always going to be new people.
Yeah.
But I sort the problem out.
They've eaten all the food. It doesn't last forever. The food,
but
Carl.
I sort it out properly.
How do you sort it out?
Because I'll go, right, not only are we just giving you food,
right,
we're giving you some seeds. We're giving you a pan.
What, you think they haven't thought of that?
Let me hear the theory, please.
Right.
Sort it out. Don't just give food. That's going to run out.
Right.
Give them a proper... You see, the problem is, there's companies who jump on the back of all... Do you know when I was in the jungle? When I was in the jungle, right? On that travel thing?
Yeah.
I was in that tribe, right? Now, some company had given that tribe a laptop because it makes them look good. They can send out a press release. Well done to so-and-so computers. They supplied the tribe in, you know, out at Amazon with a computer. I saw it. They were using it as a breadboard because they don't know what it is. They've got no electric. It's useless to them.
Right.
And that's what charity does.
Right.
Companies use it to make them look good. When I was there and I really needed to go to the toilet, I was thinking, tribe, I wonder what their toilet facilities are like, right? Thinking it might be better than just doing it in a hole. Surely they've built a toilet. They're not stupid people. They kill animals. They know what they're doing. They know how to cook. Surely they've built some sort of unit. Turns out they don't. They still do it in a hole. But some company had been there, some plumbing firm, and given them a toilet, right? The bloke who, you know, the producer who was out there, he said, "Oh, you'll be happy. There's a toilet round the back there." I'm thinking, "Oh, brilliant." I go round there. It is a toilet, but it's not plumbed in.
Sure.
So it's just a vase with shit in it. It doesn't work, and this is what we need to do. We need to get out there and say, this is how it works. Educate them.
Okay, so let's do this then. So it's just with the seeds. You're not giving them a... so I'm a starving African. Hello, Carl. Have you got any food? Got any food? Got any sandwiches?
Well, I have, but if I give you my sandwich, there's someone else behind you, and they'll all come out.
So what are you going to do then? What are you going to do?
I'm going to help you.
How? What are you going to do?
I'm going to make you think about how to make food.
Oh, okay, right.
Have you ever grown anything before?
No.
Right, well, here's some seeds for potatoes.
Brilliant. Oh, thanks, Carl. See you later. Do I just put them in the ground, yeah?
Put them in the ground and water them.
Oh, there's no water, you dopey cunt.
There is some
No,
water.
there's no water, you dopey cunt. That's why we're starving, you dopey cunt.
Right, well, at that point, that's where I go, well, this is a lost cause here.
Right.
There's no point.
Can I have your sandwich after all?
No,
or
you're
what?
not having it. You're not having it
so
now.
not only can I have a sandwich, you give me seeds with no water, you useless, bald-headed fucking twonk.
Right, but all I've done there is made the mistake of the computer firm who's given a laptop to a tribe.
Right.
It's useless.
Right.
But there's got to be another way round this.
Go on then.
Either move.
Right. Because
every year they're going to be queuing up saying, I'm hungry, give me a sandwich. No, you're not having another sandwich.
Once again, it's an utterly ill-informed discussion.
I'm just saying, there's no point queuing up every year. If you want a sandwich, here's a sandwich.
But Carl,
the next year, can I have a sandwich? Where's your brother? He died. It's not sorting anything, it's buying him an extra day, an extra month or something.
But
it's
Carl,
pointless.
the point is, like Ricky's just flagged up, is that some of these countries, conditions.
He died.
The conditions are not there to just be able to plant potato seeds.
So what are they meant to do then? Do you think we should go out every month, every year with sandwiches? Is that your answer, like some sort of buffet, an all-you-can-eat thing once a year?
Oh God!
You see, it is bad. I don't want to come across harsh. They've got nothing. We waste stuff here. Waste annoys me just as much.
Right.
When I see sandwich shops chucking stuff out in bin bags, binning it, when there's people out there who are hungry, it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
But I don't understand.
Right.
It's a problem that isn't being solved.
So your conclusion for these people, because there's no water where they are, right, is move. That is your honest. They should move.
Well, what's your solution?
Well, I don't know. I don't know the ins and outs. I don't even pretend to know. But
I tell you, it's not just it's sticking a, what's that saying? I don't know. It's sort of sticking a plaster over a hole or something, and the plaster comes off. It's a problem again.
Yeah, that's the saying. Yeah,
it's the same.
I think that was Mark Twain. No.
Sounds more like Gandhi.
Would you say, your intelligence has brought you a lot of happiness? Would you say, if I went out of my way to learn more and read more, would I be happier with it?
I can't make that question make sense, because the happiest people on earth are idiots. Clever is not the same as intelligent, and intelligent is nothing to do with having a storehouse of facts about anything, or even having a good memory.
So what you're saying is then you can be quite intelligent, but you're not always going to be right.
Wouldn't that be dreadful, to be always right?
But that's how it comes across with a lot of intelligent people, because they argue a lot, and you're like, oh, stop arguing. Just one of you just say you might be right and go home. Do you know what I mean? They're happy to. You see things on like Newsnight or whatever, and it's just like none of them are going to back down, and then they go, that's all we've got time for. See you next week. And you go, well, what's been sorted out? And that's why
things
I don't
are
like
not meant
watching
to be sorted out.
Well, what's the point in chatting about it?
Can I make this fucking bread?
Yeah, go on. Yeah, make a start on it. You see, that's like what happens on Newsnight. Asked a question, never got an answer.
This should feel like human flesh. Just feel it. It's a bit cool today.
Yeah, that's pretty good, that feels nice.
Doesn't it feel nice?
Yeah, that's good. Girlfriend doesn't let me do it anymore. Sort of trying to cook.
That's because you're not giving it enough attention, but I don't...
I sort of give it a go. She walked in one day and they had sausages in the toaster. And she went mental at me. Do you know how sausages make a load of mess when you put them in a pan? And I'm quite... It was when I first got a flat and I was really sort of... I wanted everywhere to be clean all the time.
No, I am beginning to think you might be just a tad stupid.
See, sometimes I wonder if I'm meant to be intelligent. Whenever I sort of try to teach myself something will happen to stop me learning that thing. Like here, she went off and got me a book, and then look what happens.
Given... Oh, fucking Ada.
Look at this, if we go in a bit, you're stuck in this.
Oh no, it's alright, I'll manage.
Anyway, I thought now would be a good time to sort of show me Mensa results. I thought they might look better in the dark. I did a Mensa test. I did one a couple of weeks ago.
And?
You might understand the results. Can I just show you the piece of paper? Because the results are really complicated, and I was like, what does that mean?
But surely you've already realised that Mensa people are the dreariest people on earth.
Yeah.
And the most socially maladroit.
Yeah, they were boring.
They are impossible.
Not if you got a
and
talk.
they generally have nothing but their Mensa qualification.
So what do you think? What would that... Say if you didn't know me, but you saw that piece of paper, and you saw this piece of paper before I came to see you today, what would you be thinking in your head?
Nothing.
You wouldn't judge me by that?
Judge you by the Kettle B scale? No. Whee!
You're going to cut into that?
No, it's got to cool down. But you can take it home if you like.
Can I?
Yep.
What, all of it?
Yeah.
Brilliant. I'll have my pie and my mash, gravy.
Oh, you're not a wholemeal bread man. You'll be saying, oh, I'd rather have me white bread. I don't like that bread. It's got roughage in it. It's going to make me have a big shit. It will.
That's good,
big
though,
and
isn't it?
perfectly formed.
That's good. That's healthy.
It is healthy.
So, not a very good brain, but...
Terrific
good
bowels.
she was nice enough, and I got some sort of free bread out of it, and it was sort of good to know that no matter how sort of different we were in the brain department, we could still sort of both have a laugh about my arse.
The world's oldest tortoise, a 250-year-old tortoise, died last week.
Yeah. Did it?
Yeah, in a zoo in India. 250 years old.
So would that have had that thing that they say about how you get a flashback of your life?
You mean your life flashes before your eyes?
Yeah, they say, don't they? Just like on your last breath or whatever. You like see you coming out of the womb and everything.
Well, one, I don't believe that's true. I don't believe your life flashes before you. I don't know what evidence we've got. People who die say, you never guess what's happening.
No, but there's loads of things that have happened where people go, oh, that's weird. That goes to show that we've been around before, or...
No, it doesn't. There's none. I have no evidence for that.
Well, I told you that time when it happened to me when I was younger.
Go on.
Your life flashed before your eyes?
Well, it wasn't like a flashback, but it was it's the next thing next to flashbacks. It was, I was having a bath, right? And, my mum had run the bath and that, and, she said, is that too warm? And I said something like, no, it's alright, it's a lot better than when I used to have a bath in that wooden bath in front of the fire. Okay. And she was like, what? And I said, it happened years ago. And she was a bit like, oh. And I can't remember that now, but she talks about it, and, that just goes to show that, because I was at an age when I wouldn't have known about wooden baths years ago in front of fires.
No, but you talk rubbish now. So all you were doing, you were talking rubbish from an early age. Where's the problem?
No, but you can only talk rubbish if you're aware of knowledge.
Well,
I didn't know about wooden baths, so why would I have invented
But Karl,
that?
we've only got your mother's word on this, and she thought you might one day be a doctor.
Yeah.
So...
She put a rock with a feather on it to keep a parrot company.
Lest we forget.
Yeah, but I'm just saying.
Well, it's all bollocks.
So have you researched this? You've tried to find out when little Karl Mark I and his wooden bath, when he was...
No, I don't want to go there, because that's when you start digging out all sorts of trouble.
It's rubbish.
No, it's not rubbish.
Well, it is rubbish.
What sort of stuff might you discover?
There's no scientific evidence.
No, just like I've said about family trees and that, don't be looking at them, because you're only going to find stuff you don't really want to know about. It's the same as that, innit? Leave it, let it be. Do you know what I mean? If your granddad was Einstein, you'd know about it, because your family would be shouting about it. If he was a bad un, you'd go, oh, keep that quiet. So don't look at family trees, and it's the same. Don't be looking back in your past lives.
There's no
God knows what you've been up to. Well,
Karl and the wooden bath. Proof.
Karl Pilkington live on air talking shit again.
But this tortoise. So if that's...
And also its flashbacks would just be, the same wall. I mean, it basically spent, I don't know how many years, in a cage. It was in the zoo. So, it died of liver failure. Which is a problem if you're a tortoise, because with us they can cut you open and have a look at the liver. With that, it's going, forget it, we're not getting in there. It's like you when you didn't want the plumbers to knock through the tiles to check out the piping. It's around with the tortoise. If it's a liver, we're not going through that. It's not worth it. If it's your head or your feet, we'll have a look, mate. But we're not looking at internal organs with a giant tortoise.
Why not?
Because, what do you mean?
Well, can't you drill into those things? It is only a shell. That is easier to replace than skin.
Karl, I was joking. You can't do a liver operation on a tortoise.
Why not? It's got all the same parts, hasn't it? All the same body parts and that.
Well, I think that's the point. Well, not really, but yeah, it's...
But better ones in a way, because they live longer. So they're doing something right. Aren't they? If they can live 250 odd years, our art can't do that. Which is what I say about our tortoise has got it right in a way, that it's taking its time on everything. We're rushing about, getting stressed out. That's just, getting on with it. It's not rushing. It eats healthy, doesn't it? It eats lettuce and stuff.
Yeah.
So that's probably doing it right, but to be honest, it's too much. I wouldn't want to live 250 years.
Just eating lettuce. Let's not forget that all a tortoise does is eat lettuce. It's not like it's jet skiing weekends and then getting its lettuce on a Monday. That's all it does, is eat lettuce.
Yeah.
And that appeals to you, does it?
No, I'm just saying that it must be doing something right, though.
Of course it's doing something right.
Because it's living 250 years.
But all animals do something right, however long they live. Mayflies live a day, but they're doing something right.
Well, they're not, are they? They haven't got a chance to learn how to do it right. And then they're dead.
you know, that's from one extreme to another, isn't it? That just seems a bit mental to me, that, living a day. I wouldn't bother, so forget it. Could you be bothered? You don't, just as you get to know someone.
Yeah, another mayfly.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, if we had that, if that's how we lived our lives, you wouldn't have a chance to make a mark or anything, would you? It's just...
Would you try and pack a lot in that day? Disneyland, whatever?
No, I'd prefer to make it miserable, so I don't miss it. If you know what I mean. But I was thinking the other day about, you know, your body and everything, because it is amazing, isn't it? How it works.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Does the brain control you, or are you controlling the brain? I don't know if I'm in charge of mine.
Nor do I,
There's a surprise.
Nor do I, Carl.
No, do you know what I mean, though, by that?
Does the brain control you, or do you control the brain?
Like, don't you ever sort of think sometimes, say if you're making...
But you are the brain.
No, but I was making a shopping list, right? Going, right, I need some rice, kidney beans, and I thought I had everything, and I sort of was rolling up the paper, and then something went, oh, an onion.
Your brain did
something
that.
went an onion, was it Suzanne?
No, well, my brain sort of went, you forgot something.
Yeah?
I didn't think I'd forgot.
No, you are your brain.
No, but don't you understand, my brain was I was in control of my brain when I was writing down rice and kidney beans.
But you're not in charge of the onion. That's another part of the brain that's in charge of the onion.
The onion sector.
Yeah.
No, but I'd put the paper away, putting my coat on, ready to go, ready to go and get the rice.
Yes, but your onion lobe kicked in.
What, so you put the paper in your pocket, you got the coat on, then you just suddenly hear
then
from nowhere,
it was just like,
onion.
Like, yeah, I'm not even thinking about that shopping list. It's in my pocket, I'm thinking, do I need my gloves, it's cold out.
Yeah.
Suddenly, onion. And it was like, oh yeah, onion, yeah, I had to get the paper out. So what I'm saying is, who's in charge?
The brain, the mind, the brain is the... What are you doing? Who's in charge?
That's just, you forgot the onion and then you remembered the onion. You must have forgotten things in the past.
No, but not like that, not where... Like, it just made me think, that was weird, who reminded me of that?
You did!
Yeah, but I'm not...
No, you are your brain. It's not like there's you, then there's a brain, then there's an extra one looking down at it, you know, the meta brain, the thing above it.
No, but your brain... How does your brain work? You give it information, don't you?
Well, it takes...
Do you mean you give it information?
Well, if I sat in a room with nothing, not feeding it anything, it wouldn't know anything.
No, but there's this thing that there's two yous. It's this thing that there's
Carl and Carl's brain.
Yeah, there's not a duality in this. If you go, come on, now think. That's the brain saying that to itself. It's not, there's not two people in there having an argument come on, brain. And the brain's going, oh, don't you start, I was thinking then. And the other thing's going, brain, onion. And the brain goes, Carl, onion. You are your brain. If you are anything, you are your mind, your brain, your collection of memories, your personality. You're not what you look like. Does that answer your question, Carl? What do you think then? You were thinking of a tortoise on a skateboard then when I did that last sentence, weren't you?
All I've done here, I've been through I don't know what the word is, a bad experience.
Trauma?
A trauma, yeah, I've been through a load of trauma. So I'm just finishing it off with a little sort of picture for people.
Go on then.
In my ward. It's called my ward. Me, a Chinese fella, and an old bloke who looked like Mr. Burns from The Simpsons. Don't know what was wrong with him, but breaking wind was the symptoms. No one visited him or called him. He seemed quite lost to me. As well as wind problems, he had a colostomy. When I left, I said see you to the old man. Turned out the other fella wasn't Chinese, he was from Japan. I never found out what was up with him.
Who's that guy?
He was in Russia, and he's magnetic. Magnet man.
Magnet. Oh, what he's got, so full of polluted...
Well, I don't know. At first, I was sort of amazed and a bit like, bloody hell, a magnet man. Yeah. But after a while, he was rubbing spoons on himself and he stuck them on me. And I realised he's not magnet man, he's just sweaty man.
Yeah.
his superpower could have sort of been killed with talc.
That's a good sweaty man, is it?
Anyway, we've got books out. I don't know how much we can say about having a book out. There's your book. Good luck with that.
In the toilet as soon as I get home.
But when I was at school, around that sort of 12 age, I didn't get up to much. You have no money, there's nothing you can do. So every night it was the same thing. I'd get home, and I'd have to go to the shop, right, and get some potatoes and some bread every night, right. And I kept taking this into school.
Sorry, what was it? Dublin in the 17th century? Yeah. What do you mean every day you went to the shops and got potatoes and bread?
That's kind of what I had to get all the time. That's what we had.
Why? What did you have? Chip sandwiches?
Yeah.
Right, so you went to the... you went there.
So I kept
putting that...
stick. I kept putting that in the diary, every night, saying, went to U-Phase. That was the name of the shop. Yeah.
What is it called?
U-Phase.
What is it, U or U?
Like H-U-G-H.
H-U-G-H, yeah. Oh, that was his name?
U-Phase, right. Used to go there, get the potatoes and bread and that.
I love the fact someone who's named a shop after themselves. I'm not going to say what we sell, it's named after me or nothing, or I'm not opening.
Mainly potatoes and bread. Yeah. White sliced loaves, King Edward's.
And the teacher used to always say, just write something different in there, make something up. Because, Monday, Tuesday, all the way through to Friday, every night, it was just, went to U-Phase.
Went to U-Phase?
So you sort of, you
Are you sure it wasn't an advert? Sure it wasn't paying you to say, get my name in the book?
Yeah.
The only time that it changed, and she said, oh, that's made it a bit more interesting, was when it was my birthday, and I had to buy a cake.
Potatoes and a cake?
And she said, oh, that's good.
Yeah.
That was my 13th birthday. My mum said, I got home from school, she said, oh, you're 13 today. Teenager, big turnover. Go and get a cake.
That's your experience of writing?
No, what? No, that's your experience of your 13th birthday. Oh, by the way, you're 13 today, go and get a cake.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Big surprise? Was it a big surprise? yeah, that is brilliant. So I love it.
That's the only sort of writing.
What, and they never asked you to write essays or stories?
Did you never write a story or a poem or
The stories I did earlier on were, you made them up, but it was that thing that I'd always end them with, and an alarm went off and it was all a dream.
Every single one of them.
Yeah. But they didn't. I mean, it was a bit of a.
I bought some potatoes and some bread. Then I woke up and it was all a dream.
Then I went to shops and bought some potatoes and bread. But did you ever do anything that write about an adventure when you were a spaceman, or you were you were a cowboy, or no?
All the teachers had scams going on. So in English, right? You'd go in there and the teacher would say, right, what we're doing today is. Got a load of brochures from Thomson, but they say 1983 on the front, so I've got a load of stickers here that say 1984. Let's see how many you can do in half an hour.
You are joking.
Did you go to school with Oliver Twist?
Sorry, you are joking.
I'm not, that's what they did. So the teacher must have been getting a freebie or something for helping them out.
Honestly,
yeah, that's what it was.
That is fantastic.
They were all at it.
They were all other than Mr. Fagan, you had...
Yeah. And then when they saw Karate Kid, they had every kid washing their car going, wax on, wax off, hurry up. Yeah. I'm teaching you something. Wax on, wax off, paint the fence.
So I'm just saying, that's why I'm a bit quiet, because you're talking about stuff I can't relate to.
It's funny, isn't it? Because you don't... When you're at your happiest, you never realise it, do you?
Yeah.
You don't know you're at your happiest. It's such a waste. I mentioned it to you before. Doing my paper round.
Right.
There's just... I was earning money. I liked having... I was doing that at a time when I was rubbish at school. I knew I was rubbish as well. That's the thing. I mean, there's a lot of kids who don't know they're rubbish. They're just kind of getting on with their life. But I knew I was rubbish. And I knew that I was about to have to leave school. And I didn't know what I wanted to do. And it's a scary time, really. And I just think the paper round... It's I've got a purpose. I knew I was really good at it. I've said this before in interviews, so it's got to be genuine. You know what I mean? It's not just this is just what's coming to my head. It sticks with me that, I had a responsibility. The bloke who run the shop knew I was good at it. Yeah. He relied on me. I got in early and I did my round and then went back to see if anyone else hadn't turned up because I was happy to do another round and get some more money. And it was just no one telling me what to do. I knew what to do. And it was simple. And riding about on my bike, which was what I like doing. Mm-hmm. I'd listen to the radio on my headphones sometimes, again, which I like doing. Everything about it was
just suited
perfect.
You. I mean, maybe I'd murder a person. You know,
Wow.
just see, I don't know, but I think I'd probably go mental.
Because
I've always been a very reserved person, I've never got into a fight, I've never caused a rumpus.
Yeah, but that's a worrying thought, because we don't have to have the end of the world for it to be the end of your world, because a lot of people know that they're terminally ill, so they don't go around smashing up bars and killing people.
But I suppose I know there'll be no repercussions ultimately, because
They're gonna
the
die
next day
anyway.
everyone's gone, so
Yeah,
there's not going to be mourning families.
But then how dare you deprive that person of his last 8 hours or 10 hours of life?
I don't care, because it's the last day on Earth.
Well, that's
so
true.
I know the moral guilt that I'll feel is over in a few hours.
Morality isn't relative just to repercussion, is it? Because
no, but the point is
you can do things without repercussion. But often people say, what would you do if you never got caught, or would you do it if there is repercussions for that person, as grave as they might be, just because you feel that it's no big deal either way, that they're only going to live another 8 hours, they might feel differently. And you're saying, well, you won't care because you won't be around. But then, why do people care about their loved ones when they won't be around? Why do people get a will ready?
Because my point is that they know that those people will continue to live for an indeterminate amount of time.
So you do care about the other person's feelings?
Of course I do. Oh, no, of course I do. But my point is, knowing that everyone is going to be wiped off the face of the earth the following day, all of those repercussions are no longer quite the same.
I'd find it hard to divorce myself from my morality that's ingrained just because it doesn't matter anymore.
Yeah, but I mean, I honestly, to me, it seems that we're approaching just the end of all things, and so I'm saying that there's something about the fact that we're all going to end that somehow seems very liberating.
What would you do?
I've always wanted to kick a duck up the arse.
Okay, sum up mankind's foray into the future. I want this. This will be the introduction to a book about the future. It will then be read in 100 years' time and go, Karl Pilkington was the most prophetic genius that's ever walked the earth. These are his words from 2010.
Just some predictions. Just
sum it up. Just sum it up. I believe. Start off with, I, Karl Pilkington, believe that mankind in the future will. Okay, start off with that sentence.
And then what? Just have like a top 5.
Well, no, or just
maybe just predictions.
Just predictions.
Yeah.
So
and then a little thing to remember. And remember ye this. So I, Karl Pilkington, predict that in the future mankind will. Start off with that. Start off with that sentence. I've given you that one.
All right, I'm Karl. And the future.
He's already gone off-road.
It's a scary place. Right. But the future's going to happen. Mm-hmm. Right? There's no getting away from that.
Yep. Okay, your predictions are...
Well, we're all...
It's not a soundbite.
Keep going. Give him space. Give him space.
This is in a book. I've got to think about... I don't want to get it wrong.
Think first. Think and then say it. Okay, starting from now. These words of wisdom will be inscribed on a wall of a museum one day. Proceed.
Wall of a lavatory, won't it?
I think trousers are going to be stopped being made. Just because you see kids now, they've got pants around their ankles. They're going further and further down. So I think that's evolution, just getting rid of the trouser.
Right.
It's just dropping naturally.
That's the evolution of the trouser, because it's dropping incrementally
well, you see now,
down
you can
the
see
arse.
kids' underpants, so they're just dropping.
Yeah.
I think they'll get to a point when they just don't bother wearing them anymore.
Right.
Prediction 1!
Okay,
that's an amazing one!
They'll stop making trousers in the future, okay.
We're going to get weaker. That's already happened.
Mm-hmm.
They used to say, an apple a day keeps the doctor away. Now they're saying eat 5 fruits.
Right.
So we've definitely that's evidence. You can't argue with that. I'd probably put that first because the guy's right. What's number 2? So swap that round.
Okay, that's number 1.
Give him the pants second.
Yep.
I'm gonna die.
Okay,
they
number 3.
used to say an apple a day keeps the doctor away. They used to say pull your trousers up. Now they say put them down. You can. I
It's such fucking dribble!
Number 3.
Right, number 3. Oh, the scholars are now waiting with bated breath when they find this old scroll, and they go, ooh, what can number 3 be?
I reckon we'll blend all our food.
Oh God!
No, because
I honestly thought then he was going to make a point about race. When he said, I never thought it would be, we'll blend all our food.
like they do for babies, you mean?
I just think when you think about all the stuff we eat now, cavemen chewing on big lumps of meat.
Yeah.
We had wisdom teeth.
Yep.
Now they say, take them out, you're not using them.
Yep.
Why are you not using them? Because your food's soft.
Yep.
Sorbet.
Yep.
Soups.
Yeah.
Everything's softer, isn't it? When you get an avocado, they say, is it soft? Everyone's squeezing the food before they buy it.
Yeah.
No one wants anything tough.
Yeah.
So I think chewing is a sort of thing of the past. We haven't got the time to chew. Everyone's like, hurry up, eat that. You don't have to go out for dinner with Ricky. He's like, hurry up. Like, I'm still eating it.
He does blend his food, I think. Okay, so blending food.
Great. That's a load of bollocks. So what's number 5?
There'll be more letters in the alphabet.
Why?
Why?
Because we're running out of words now, aren't we?
No, we're not running out of words.
No, we are.
No.
We are definitely running out of words.
Just using the letters we've already got and making new words.
Yeah, we're making,
No, but we haven't got enough now.
Of course we have. Have you any idea? You could have a word with 9 L's before you run out.
Yeah, and they do in Wales and what have you. That's because their alphabet is shorter than ours. They've only got something like 24 letters over there.
Right.
But they go mental with the L. Now what we do is we've got 26 letters, but we are now struggling.
We're not struggling at all.
We are.
We're not. Let me say stupid.
Boswallocks in shampoo. Now there's a word where they've gone, well, we've invented something here. What? We've got something we're putting in shampoo.
Boswallocks?
Boswallocks.
Have you just made that up?
No, it's now they go, new with Boswallocks and ceramide R. Yeah, but that's a new word because they have to, they come up with a new word.
But it's a terrible word.
Why?
Boswallocks.
It's another word.
Is that real? You've made that up,
no, I haven't. It's a real word.
Yeah.
Now this is what I'm saying. So years ago when they came up with all the sensible ingredients,
go on.
Sodium. That sounds that sounds all right.
He likes sodium. He doesn't like Boswallocks.
Because it sounds like something in it, like an ingredient.
Well, yeah, but that's because you're used to it.
Is this a load of Boswallocks? Are you winding me up?
No,
the two
it's
of you?
real.
It's real, and that's because 26 letters. We've wasted them. Years ago, we went mental with the, pneumonia, sticking a P on it, and there's loads of words where you go, what's that letter doing in there? Whereas now, they can't do that. They've gone, whoa, pull that back. Why is that letter there? And now you've got stuff like abbreviations and stuff.
Yeah.
Let's not waste letters. Let's just control it a little bit. Cars are called things like, GTI or something, because they're going, well, I can't think of a word to call this. So they're giving them letters. Think of a word now. Think of a word that hasn't been made up.
What do you mean?
Well, tell me a word that hasn't been made up.
All words have been made up.
No, one that hasn't. That could be used. Say if I invent something now to put in shampoo, what can I call it? Quick.
Cranberry.
No, it's too close to that. No, we can't get that past the advertising person.
Scrimpton.
Scrimpton.
Yeah.
It took Ricky 2 goes and you accepted his second one.
I woke up this morning, yeah.
Feeling fine.
It's not a blues song. And I turned my phone on and it was from Karl and it went, forget it, I've made my mind up. And I thought,
wow,
what is that? And I
forget it, I've made my mind.
Yeah, I went, Karl, what is it? He went, oh no, it's about the text I sent you last night. I went, well, what was it? I just got this text. He went, I was just wondering, I was thinking last night. He said, supposing you had to have your hands removed.
Sure.
Right? And the doctor said, well, you can either have them stay like that with stumps, or I can sew feet there. What would you have? And I was bleary-eyed and I went, the stumps? He went, yeah.
I went, all right? He went, yeah.
And then what was his follow-up text to that?
And then I got the text, it was obviously before it, and it went, and it was like quite serious. What would you do if Sarah's not doing rounds? Would you have stumps or the feet, right? Now the way, when I said he's made his mind up, and I went the stumps, he went, yeah. I think secretly he decided on the feet, but was too embarrassed to tell me.
There's a little bit of what would you do? Because
But why did you think of this? Why did you think of this?
Girlfriend's away, right?
Yeah, no, that's not why you start thinking bizarre surgery devices.
Now, right? I'll let you into my little mind, right? Last night, I had some beans on toast, right? She was away.
It's good already.
She was away, she had some beans on toast, she went wild.
Yeah.
Right? Now, I was stood up, I live on on a high street, right? So I'm washing up, I'm looking out the window. First thing that had my attention is, I can look into other people's flats, right?
Yeah.
And it was weird how all these different lives were going on, I was watching them, and everybody had the telly on and was watching Volcano, right? Which was on last night.
Right.
And I thought, oh, that's weird, right? I can see them all watching it, and it was like a little Chinese lad who was dancing around in some underpants. Yeah. And then there's a little old woman who lives downstairs who was reading a book, and she's always reading a book every night, and it's like, I have a better life than her. And then there's like some sort of bouncer who's always getting ready to go out late at night with all the black on. He looks like a bouncer. So I was watching all this life going on, I thought...
Did you witness a murder while you were doing this?
Yeah.
It was like that sort of Sliver film where that bloke had loads of tellies watching people's lives. So that was going on in my mind. And then I was washing up, and I picked up the plate, and I thought, oh, it's amazing, isn't it? The human body. The way you can just sort of, I want to pick that up, and you do.
Yes.
And the way your hands work, right? Yeah. You've got 5 little digits, but it's just the right amount to do what to do what you've got to do, right? So I'm cleaning the plate.
Sorry, Carl, stop. It's just the right amount. Might be one of the most genius things I've ever heard said. I would love David Attenborough to phone you up and say, Carl, how do I word this about the evolution of the mammalian front limb? Just go, we'll just say it's the right amount.
But it is. One extra would get in the way. Yeah. And one less would just make it that little bit more tricky when picking up a bit of a slippery dish.
Sure, or buying gloves. Yeah.
A slippery dish.
So then I was thinking, imagine like going to the doctors and they're saying, yeah, everything's all right, your heart's good and everything, but
your heart's good. What, your Larry's or
your heart, you're in good form and whatever. Sure. It's good news. I had Jono in earlier. He's not looking good.
Yeah. I had Fat Swaller.
But you're all right. But your hands need to come off.
Right. Blimey. But that's bad. Like, I'd get a second opinion initially.
But I better good news, I've got a nice pair of feet I can sort you out with. Yeah. And he puts them on, and then I was thinking, right, first of all, washing up, what would that be like? I thought...
Steve!
That'd be tricky. Yeah. And then the second thing was, it'd probably ruin the sort of the shape of your jumper.
Because you have to keep putting the feet through there. Yeah.
And then I thought, but I could still cycle in.
Okay.
To work.
You could run in.
Well, that's the thing.
You'd be really fast.
Well, that's what I was thinking. I thought I could still cycle because I could balance, and then I thought, but the only thing is I probably couldn't pull the brakes. Because of the little short things.
Yeah.
And then, like you, I thought, but then again, you'd run in half the time. So that's what was going on in last night.
Right.
That's what I was thinking about.
Sure. Did you
How long did this take?
Well, how long does it take to wash up?
Right, because I imagine you just being there for, like, all night.
Probably 25 minutes.
How long did the little Chinese fella dance for in his pants?
He's always doing it. Last night he was at it for, like, 10 minutes.
Yeah.
And his girlfriend never sits in the same room as him. She's always sat in the bedroom.
She's going, you dance in pants again, I go in next door.
Well, she was in the bedroom. She's always in the bedroom, sat on the floor, on the mobile phone.
Right.
All the time, yeah. It's weird how people's lives are just like, it is like that Groundhog Day thing. It's like, he's jumping about in his underpants. The old woman's sat there reading a book.
Yeah.
And that's what got me thinking about my life.
Do you think she ever goes...
Are you sure she's not dead? Every time you look down there, she's just flicking through she's just reading this book. The pages never turn. She never seems to finish it. She never moves from her chair.
Are you sure the Chinese
her
girl's
cats
going,
are dead around her.
I'm going into next door again. That little round-headed fella's looking in. He's looking in at me. The bouncer goes, "Don't worry, love. I'll go and beat him up." But he's always getting ready.
That's true.
They see you staring at him, washing up, going, "I could have feet here," and they get scared. The old woman's dead. Oh,
Carl, can you tell us roughly which neighbourhood you live in? So, so that we know?
It's central.
Central, is it?
Yeah.
Wow, imagine if that little... Was he a Chinese fella, did you say?
Yeah.
Imagine if he was listening now. I'd love him to call in and explain his actions.
Well, he might be on some other radio station talking about a lad who's always washing up and looking at his hands in a mysterious way.
Yeah.
But do we have this doctor that would go, well, all right, Carl, you could either leave them as stumps or I've got a little pair of feet. Why? I mean, I told Jane this, and Jane went, is that the only choice? Could you say, could I have some dead man's hands? Have you got any? Where do you get the feet from? Where do you get the feet from? Can I have? What would you rather have then? Human feet or monkey paws?
Well, I mean, that wasn't an option last night. That if the doctors said
no, it wasn't an option last night. But don't forget, it's in your head, Carl. This didn't happen.
No, but I'm just saying, at the time, that's all the doctor had to offer.
But you know, it's your head. You can go anywhere. No, it wasn't a real doctor to offer. It's in your head. You can go anywhere. You're not trapped.
Yeah, but if you can do anything, then you'd say we'll sort us out some other hands.
Fair point. Let's play record.
Well, I'm up on Carl at the moment because it was my birthday in the week, and not only has he bought me a little vibrating thing to put on the chair because I got about that, so that vibrates. That.
Actually, we can hear it.
Yeah, I'm gonna do it between records now.
Right. And what's that doing to you as you?
It's just it sort of like sends a little pulse into your sort of muscles, relaxes, doesn't it? I've got to relax on air. If I'm relaxed, the listeners relax. We're all happy.
Sure.
He's also got me this little electronic bongos, and I thought we could do like, oh, chimpanzee that, monkey news. So it's like a jungle sort of thing.
Sure. Yeah. Brilliant. Well, that's always been one of the great jingles that even has.
So I've got the vibrating. Oh, chimpanzee that! Monkey news!
Dr. Fox, if you're listening, I think you'll know that's a clear improvement in this show.
So thank you for those.
It's alright.
We'll see.
What did you get him?
What did I get him? I couldn't get him anything, I was too busy buying myself an iPod.
Are you joking?
Well, it's a little bit gay, isn't it, giving gifts to blokes?
Yeah, it is, but for someone who's like major...
Yeah.
Play a record!
As I've got older, things get me down more, and I think that's down to showing more interesting stuff. Like I say, I've changed it's been over, it's like 15 years, I think, radio stuff. So I am like different from then, and I used to feel a bit more upbeat, I think. And life just the news and everything, innit? It does get me down, and I know people say I sort of agree with that ignorance is bliss thing. I know a lot of people don't, but I know personally I was happier when I knew less, because a lot of this stuff, I see on the news or you read about, you hear about, it gets you down, but there's nothing you can do. I mean, you can do your little bit, trying to save the planet or whatever. I've got a bag for life. Brilliant. but there's not, there's not much I can do, and yet you just see everything just getting worse and worse, and maybe this is what happens when you get older. Maybe you feel like it's no longer your time on this planet. Everything's changing. There's nothing new. Songs that you hear in the charts, you go, why is everyone acting like this? Is a cover version, this. I remember the original, and it was better. You kind of get older, and you go, I don't want to live to be old. I don't want, even though life is good, I was driving down last night and just driving through Chiswick, and there was an Ocado van delivering to a house, and there was a little old woman at the door struggling, picking up her potatoes and that, and he'd put them on her. And I looked over and I just was like, she looks happy, but I don't want that. I don't want to. I think she lived on her own. You see it and you go, oh, that poor bastard. Look at her getting on with it. I don't want that.
Suzanne will look after you.
No, but what happens if she goes first? And I hope I go first. I don't want all that. Jeez. But it is on my mind more. Is it the same with you as you get older? Do you think about it more?
Yeah, and you're wondering what's there and what's to come. And
on one of my travels, I met this bloke who did rumpology, where they read your future from your arse. They look at your arse and sort of read your arse crack and that. And it was really weird because he said, "Oh, you're going to go to, you're going to move to Italy." And it was really weird because I was like, we've talked about that. Me and Suzanne, we're always watching Place in the Sun, especially the weather at the minute. I don't know if it's climate change or it's just crap weather. It's the winter and it's crap weather.
Yeah. Who, though, is your best friend?
Well, it's my girlfriend, isn't it?
Mm.
I've been with her, Suzanne, for 20-odd years, 26, coming up to, I think, 26 years this year. And it's difficult. I think I already said to you, making friends is, proper friends. It's hard, isn't it?
Really hard.
And I know we live in a world where it's like social media, but that doesn't count. That's not friends. It's just, I don't know what that is. I don't get involved in it. I don't know what it is. With Suzanne, I can say what I'm thinking without it being, no one gets offended. She knows I'm asking something because I want to know the answer.
Mm.
I'm not trying to be funny. You can just be yourself. I mean, you're talking before about, when I'm myself or whatever. I'd say I'm most at ease and most myself when I'm with her, because I'm not thinking, God, how's that person going to take that?
Yeah.
Am I going to upset them? I don't want to upset anyone. But it's... and it's hard making friends. Once you're in the public eye, you're on the back foot. You meet someone new who could potentially be your best mate, but they're what's the way to say it? They're what is it? Like, they've got the advantage because they know more about you than you know about them.
Yeah, that's super weird, actually, isn't it?
It's
like they've
well
got a head
weird.
start.
Cheers for that. That does look like an all right tea. The colour's good. Yeah, that's all right. That.
Yeah, it's like a head start, isn't it?
So they know a bit more about you, and you know nothing about them, and they've maybe already got an opinion on you, even though they don't even know you. They only know you from your radio or telly or something you've said once, and they're judging you all on that. And yet, I just wish you could sort of go fresh start here, forget everything, just judge on what you're seeing in front of you now.
Yeah, I can see that.
So I do struggle on the friend front.
Got any pals from school that you keep?
Yes, I have. Yeah.
Yeah.
I've got mate Laurie, who I see every other week.
Oh, nice.
And it's good to talk, sort of go back and talk about growing up and memories, because it keeps the memories alive, doesn't it, old mates?
I think so.
They really are, and that's. Yeah, I think that's really important. Maybe I live in my past a bit too much, but it's the thing you always go to as the...
comforting, though, isn't it?
It is, yeah. And, with my mate, and there's another mate who keeps saying we're going to meet up, Darren Buckley. But he's busy. He's kind of got a family now. I haven't got kids. He's got kids, about 4 or 5 of them.
Oh, he's really busy.
So when we talk about, like, let's have a weekend away somewhere... Me and Laurie were like, actually, he probably can't. He's got to always do something for his kids.
No, he probably really wants to go.
He talks like he's up for it. And then he says, I remember, like, this was about 9 months ago, and it was like, what about spring 2020? And it's like, I don't know where I'm going to be then. But for him, that's how his life is.
It gets like that.
It gets like, he's like a proper diary, and it's like, I can't live like that. But, my mates... I suppose just because they know me, we've got something in common. And I think that's the struggle I have with social media and, like, suddenly a load of people following every word you say. I don't think it was ever meant to happen,
I don't like it. I find it weird.
I don't think it's healthy. I don't think it works. I think, when people say, like, humans are sociable animals, I don't think they mean Twitter. I think they mean like a tribe in a jungle, and then you have your circle and you all look out for each other and you all live in that same place and you all know the same people, and when you say something, everybody kind of knows what you're saying because you're all from the same place.
Yes.
But when you blurt something out and then someone takes it the wrong way and they don't quite understand what you meant, it all kicks off and people are outraged. I don't think it doesn't work. It doesn't work, and that's why you can't be yourself on social media, even though, and if you can't be yourself, it's like, God, what, I don't understand what life is. If you can't be yourself and you've got to put this other life out there, and then you're stepping on eggshells or whatever the saying is. I'm really surprised that it's lasted as long as it has.
And it's not going, is it?
It's not going away, is it?
I thought it might. I know, I thought it might.
And yet everyone's talking, but no one's listening, and I don't know. What was your question again? I'm trying to think if I've even given you an answer.
No, you have. Who's your best friend?
Who's my best mate? So, yeah, my girlfriend. She's... And I hope I'm hers. I think I am. But she's more... like I say, she did better than me at school, and she's brainier. So it's weird. I've said it before. I sort of use her as my backup drive, in a way.
The hard drive.
The hard drive. She's got a better brain. She can remember stuff I've said, or like... or it's like Google, you know what I mean? If she's in and I don't understand something, I don't watch the news if she's not there, because I don't understand what's going on. She's like a little Google. It's like, what's going on here? Why is everyone angry? And she'll have to pause it and go, this is what's going on.
Brilliant.
So
she sounds great.
No, she is. She's good, and I always think it's going to get to a point where she runs off. But I think maybe she must get some out of me.
Wait, you've been together how long? 20 odd years?
26 years.
Carl, what's the worst present you've ever had?
You see, we don't really celebrate birthdays in our house, so...
What? Where are you from? What planet are you? What do you mean you don't celebrate birthdays?
Are you here from another world observing? Like, trying to blend in, but not quite managing to pull it off?
I'm not that fussed about it.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's...
Yeah.
My mum and dad's are on the same day, and I think that just was like...
That's a bit weird, isn't it?
And their anniversary.
Well, they got married on their mutual birthday.
But Carl, can I just...
and Christmas.
But Carl, there's a difference between you saying...
What do you mean their anniversary's on the same day? Of course it's on the same day.
Yeah, and the birthday.
But, Carl, what I mean is that... you say that you don't really celebrate your birthday, but presumably you have received some presents at some point in your life from your parents. Or anyone.
Yeah,
Okay, well, we'll come back to you later.
Lego.
When I was a kid, right, it wasn't about what you got. I remember one year when I was about 8, right?
Oh, this is going to make me cry, isn't it, this?
No, it's not. I'm just saying the way it is, right? I woke up at about 4 in the morning, and I was like, oh, what forgot? And I couldn't sleep. I was that on edge. It's the excitement of Christmas, isn't it? It's like, oh, what's wrapped up? I need to know.
Sure. Yeah.
And it's the fact that people are saying, no, you won't know until tomorrow.
Yes.
Sure. That annoys you and winds you up.
Okay.
So I got up at 4 in the morning, opened my presents, and then went, right, I know now, went back to bed, had a great sleep.
Yes.
Right? So it's nothing to do with the excitement of what you get, it's the excitement of not knowing what you've got.
And then what happened when you got up to go down with the presents?
But hang on, so what you're saying to me is that you could wrap up a brick because the thrill of Christmas is in hoping and being excited about what it is, not the actual gift itself.
Yeah.
Is that what you did? Rick, did you get a brick?
No, let me tell him now what he got. He got her a present, right, and she said, she came, I said, yeah, he got me. It was an industrial-sized packet of condoms.
It was a joke gift.
No, it wasn't a joke gift.
It wasn't even a joke.
I went home that Saturday after here, past Boots, thought, might have something in here. They were on, like, value.
Right, you passed the
makeup. Were they used?
Right, passed the makeup, you passed all the other...
Passed the makeup, passed the lovely vanity cases. Yeah, the foot spas. Yeah. Oh, hold on. How much are these, love, for 100?
Yeah.
$4.99.
Yeah. Do I get them reduced if I buy in bulk?
So how many did you buy? What was it?
I don't know, probably about 100.
Right, okay.
And is she allowed to use those with anyone?
Did you wrap them?
Can she just go out and have a wild
Well, you don't need to wrap, they're already wrapped, aren't they? Oh. And then what did she say when she opened them? No, wait, Carl, what did she say?
Right, play a record and we'll come back to this. You're worse than my father. Carl, just take us through the moment where you gave this gift. Firstly,
so you went into Boots, right? You thought, alright, 100 condoms, brilliant. Okay, did you wrap it up?
I don't know if it was 100, probably 80.
Right, okay, yeah.
Right.
You don't want to go mad, do you?
Wrap them up.
I'm just resting easy knowing that he's not trying to breed.
Right. No.
Yeah.
So, I got her them. I got her, Grease on DVD, because she's always watching that.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. So just think of, when her mum said, what did Carl get you? Some condoms and grease.
I was going to say, I'm glad he said on DVD.
Yeah.
Right. she was surprised anyway, right? Because
yeah, I bet she was.
No, when she got
she was thinking like jewellery.
No, right?
that showed her. That surprised you, wasn't it? All right.
So hang on, wait a minute.
You thought it was a holiday, didn't you? Yeah, look at your face.
You don't know me at all. So hang on. So did you give these on Christmas Day?
Right. What happened is she got in from work that Saturday, right? And I said, look under the tree.
Knackered. Oh, right? At least it's Christmas. Yeah. At least I'm gonna get a little bit. Yeah,
I said, look, you got some stuff under the tree, right? So
did you give her a sugar lump?
Right. She was really chuffed with that, but she said she was a bit puzzled because I didn't know we had any wrapping paper, right? So I ended up using wallpaper.
You didn't take it off the wall though. You had some.
No, it was some left over, right? So she said, "Why have you used wallpaper?" I said, "Well, I didn't have any paper, and you were getting in a bit, and I wanted you to have a surprise." So she said, "Can I have a feel of them?" I said, "No."
Presents.
She thought, right, I've got the right thing.
Yeah.
Right.
And then Christmas Day, I said, "No, don't get carried away. It's nothing really good. You know, we said we weren't going to buy each other much. So there you go. Open them."
Yeah, go on.
And
can I just ask, had you received your present from her yet?
Yeah.
So what had you received?
What did he have? Had some shoes.
Nice.
Right. Getaway game for PlayStation.
Nice.
I'm just totting up the value of this.
Those,
Go on, yeah.
And just also think about how much fun and pleasure you get from them.
Yeah.
Although, of course, condoms I can see the see the appeal.
Well, okay. So I think
but also add to that bit 150 quid for a meal. If you're going to start totting up, 150 quid for a meal. I bought her some shoes, 72 quid.
Yeah, that was after the event, though.
Doesn't matter.
Alright, so you'd received these, dare I say it, thoughtful and nice gifts. You handed over the box of condoms. They were wrapped up. She unwrapped them.
Yeah.
Go on, take us through it. Walk us through it.
Well, it's not something you play with on Christmas morning.
Oh, God. Oh.
But when she opened
what did she say?
What did she
say?
Well, I wrapped them twice as well, so she thought it was something really good.
Extra protection.
Right.
And
so she thought it was something really good.
And then
the disappointment would be doubled.
Yeah, go on, yeah.
Then she just opened it and went, "Oh yeah, so what's on the telly?" And that
was ungrateful. What an ungrateful woman that is.
Well, she got stuff.
Fancy not wanting.
I told her
a box of economy condoms from Boots.
I said to her about the thing about, you know, it's all about the surprise and that, innit?
Yeah.
You explained that to her?
Yeah.
What, after she'd unwrapped it?
Yeah.
Thoughtful.
And she was alright about it.
Yeah. She understood.
Rick, you know I suggested to him that he buy his girlfriend a gift. I'm worried I've done more damage to the relationship by suggesting that than if he had just forgotten.
Next time you've got to go shopping for yourself, Steve.
I think I might do.
You've better go shopping for yourself.
I'm glad it's all over though. It's mental.
Yeah.
It annoys me. The whole thing annoys me, and she knows that as well.
Yeah.
She should know. What? She still insists on having Christmas once a year.
Well.
I'm you know.
No, but well, anyway, what did you get?
I can't think what you bring to the relationship, Carl. I don't know what it is she's getting from you in this relationship. It's like she's doing all the work.
Well, yeah. 80 times. Oh God, Carl! I love it. You're brilliant. I know what she's getting. He's the.
What though? He's not thoughtful.
No, but he's thoughtful. It's the best he can do with the brain he's got. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
He's doing his best. He's absolutely doing his best. There's no.
He's working at the limits of his powers.
Do you know what I mean? Though he's done as well as he can with what he was given.
Sure.
Yeah, and that's admirable.
Yeah.
It's like I think he's done better than you'd expect. I bet his teachers didn't even think he'd get this far. Do you know what I mean?
What? Find a girl.
No, well, yeah, a job, a girl.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Clothe himself. He's done really well. What do you think, Carl? You think you've done well?
I think I've done alright compared to some of my mates.
What are they doing now?
Probably not that much. Do you know what I mean? Mrs. Matthews said I wouldn't be an high flyer. I think I'm doing alright.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I have a holiday every year. Got somewhere to live and that.
Yeah. Got a new flat, haven't you?
Yeah, so...
So where are they then, the condoms? Did she show them to her family and friends?
No.
Take them into work? Look what Carl got.
I'm surprised she told Ricky, actually. I was a bit disappointed in that.
Yeah.
Because I didn't go shouting around.
Well, she was so excited, Carl, clearly. She was just so pleased and proud.
Alright, play a record, we'll come back to it.
No, that's it now.
Like when you go down Christmas and you're excited about a present and it's like some condoms. You know what I mean? Well, I love that.
Yeah, that moment.
Yeah.
I don't know how he's going to top that next year.
I don't know how he's going to top that. All I can think of is some corn plasters. Right.
It's alright, love, the batteries are included.
Got you a pumice stone. Right.